All right, we should be live. What is going on, everybody? You guys already know what it is. That every week Friday stream, I go by RB, and right here to my right, I got another Philly content creator on here. I'm gonna let him go ahead and introduce himself.
What is going on, everybody? I go by 4for4 Philly fan. I started this channel up a couple months ago. I love talking Philly sports. Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, and Sixers. And I'm about to have a lot of fun with my guy. And stay tuned.
What it is that every week Friday stream. Mute it on your YouTube app.
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
All right, we're good.
Hold on, we should be live right now. Here we are. All right, so that's my boy 4for4 Philly fan. First off, I just want to say I appreciate you guys. We got the new software up in here. Just trying to work some kinks out. I already see that we have 11 people in here. What is going on, everybody? I just want to take a second. To say what's up to everybody. As you guys know, like I said last week, we got some things coming to the channel, man. This is just the first of many. We got collabs with other streamers coming, other Philly content creators. Like I said, guys, we're on the way to 2K. My guy 4for4 is on the come up. When I hit 2K, we're doing a giveaway. And I'm going to bring some of you guys, like I promised, on here to talk Philadelphia sports. But I appreciate all the people that continue to support and come out. And yeah, we're just going to get right into this. We're going to talk some Philadelphia Eagles tonight. What's going on, everybody? We got 12 people in here right now. I'm trying to pull up the comments for a second. But yeah, man, it's going to be a lit stream tonight. It's going to be a lit stream. But first off, the first question I want to start you guys off with, and I want to get everyone's input 4for4. I want to get the whole comment section going. What are your thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles offseason this far? We're months in. We still got months to go. Who knows when the season is going to start? But as of right now, if you had to give me some input, how are the Eagles doing right now at this point in the offseason? And what do you see the trajectory of this offseason going forward as? Let me know, guys.
I mean, just to get things started off, I think the Eagles attacked free agency at a very good pace, at a very good rate. With the defense, we really hit that hard with, not really the signing of Slade, but the trade and sign of Darius Slade. Javon Hargrave is somebody that has not even been talked about in, free agency like that. And he really should be because, Javon Hargrave was a very good, guy in the front seven for the Steelers. You got Robot, Will Parks. We have a bunch of those guys. And even the draft. I mean, yeah, you had the little hiccup with Jalen Hurts that we all know. And, some fans have still not even, gotten over that. Me being one of them. I am still confused about that trade or that pick. But, I think Rager could really be something special. I saw Skip Bayless saying that there was like 5 or 6 better wide receivers than Jalen Rager. I don't know about 5 or 6. Maybe you could say you have an argument for Jefferson, maybe Mims. But other than that, I mean, he was projected to go early second round, late first round in basically everybody's mock draft. But, that's my takes on the offseason. I think we have done a very good job this offseason. Yeah, you could use a couple things here and there, but dealing with the wide receivers, you got a bunch of running backs. We're still looking at running backs. The defense is the major piece of the offseason that has really stuck out to me a lot, and I'm really liking the offseason for the defense in particular a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think we've had a pretty quality offseason. Obviously, with the whole draft decision, that kind of got a lot of the spotlight. But overall, I agree with your points. I think we've significantly upgraded the defense. I think that has been the main priority. And then when we get into the draft, we're going out, we're getting younger. We talked about this offseason as kind of a rebuild, but at this point, it's like, did we really rebuild? I feel like we just got younger, faster, stronger, but it all happens, at the speed of lightning pretty much. And not even a whole offseason. It feels like we have a roster, in my opinion, that is going to contend. And like you said, I think we've upgraded at most positions. But Right now, I'm trying to pull up the comments. I don't know why it's not showing up. Let me see. It shows up on YouTube, but not on the StreamYard.
Yeah, I got one in my thing. I don't know if I click on it. That's not even working for me either.
Yeah, I don't know why it's showing yours, but not mine. Hold up. Just bear with us, guys. Like I said, this is new. We're trying to work out all the kinks.
Yeah, this is, first time collabing. Definitely expect a lot more collabs with us too. Philly, RB, definitely going to have a bunch of people on. Great YouTuber. If you guys haven't already and you're a part of my stream, go sub him up real quick like this. We're all in this together. We're dealing through a tough time with no sports right now, but, we're just trying to get stuff out as Philly content creators. We love doing this, and, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button just means a little bit more to YouTubers than you guys would, sometimes think.
Definitely. I'm trying to, I know it shows up like that, but let me see. You can go ahead and ask the chat a question real quick. I'm just gonna try to figure this out real quick.
So if you guys are watching this, who do you like? Do you guys see any new moves in the coming months? Like, do you see, LaShawn McCoy reunion? Do you see a Devontae Freeman? Do you see just a random running back that's getting pulled out of, the air type of guy? Do you see any more moves within the coming months? Yeah, this is weird why we can't see the comments.
Yeah, I can only see yours. I don't know why though.
Well, I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna keep the conversation going. So, do I see any new moves in the up and coming months? Personally, I'm not really too sure. I could really see a running back like a veteran or like a bruiser type of back like Devontae Freeman or like LaShawn McCoy for veteran presence. We do have guys like Adrian Killings. You can get a guy like Elijah Holyfield or somebody in that nature from the practice squad. We all saw what happened with Boston. Yep, there we go.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to interrupt you. I just had to switch one of the settings. That's on me. I apologize. All right, guys, my fault. Hey, we're in here, man. There's 21 people in here right now. 21 people, guys. Smash that like button. Subscribe to Philly Take with RB. Subscribe to 4 for 4 Philly fam. Just like 4 for 4 was saying, man. Look, we're gonna go crazy. Me and him, we're on a come up. We're continuing. We're gonna be live streaming a lot, man. We're gonna be live streaming a lot. I need all your guys' energy. I need all of it tonight. We got some good things to talk about. But yeah, first off, like we were talking about, right? The offseason. Me and you both agree that the Eagles have had, a quality offseason thus far. And next, we're going to get into what moves need to be made going forward here. But first off, like I always do, let's see who is in the chat, all right? Let's see who is in here. Tristan, what is going on, bro? Says, I'm so hyped. Texas Eagle, what's going on? And guys, like I said, this is a new software I'm still working out. I'm still trying to understand it. But yeah, we're excited to be doing this.
Yeah, 100%.
Christian, what's going on? Barn 5, a loyal subscriber, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Carol, what's going on? Augie, hey, 4 for 4. Augie, if you don't know, is a Cowboys fan, but is one of the most objective Cowboy fans that I know. She comes in here on every stream and is very, very objective and knows how to talk football. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I love Cowboys fans that can speak and not be delusional, honestly. Because we all know.
What's going on? Bashir Randall, shout out to you. Rick Bennett, one of my OG loyal subs. What's going on? All right, guys. We're backed up in the chat. I'm gonna skip a lot of these. If I did not read your comment, be sure to comment again. By the way, super chats are available if you guys want to help grow and support the channel as well. Appreciate all of you guys stopping by. We got 17 people in here right now. Joseph Simmons, what's going on? Says, let's not forget the chemistry we saw in week 1 between Wentz and Jackson. 4 for 4. What do you got to say to that? I'm going to keep going through these comments.
Yeah, what do you have? 2 touchdowns, like 100 and like 50, 40 yards. I mean, we saw that explosive energy and just the way that the link was rocking that day on week 1 of last season. We're in Washington this year, same team. Now we have even more speed demons. You got Rager, you got Goodwin, you got Deshaun back. If Deshaun can stay healthy, I really do believe that we can have a very good, connection between those two with Wentz and Deshaun, because Deshaun is one of the best go-getter wide receivers in the NFL. I mean, you got to think, even as how old he is, he can still get it done. So,
Yep.
Yeah, I'm loving Deshaun.
Yep, I absolutely agree with you. Hey, we're going to talk about Carson Wentz for sure. We're definitely going to get into the Wentz talk a little bit later on. But the first thing we got to talk about, all right, the first thing we have to address, the running back situation. So we talked about the offseason, right? The running back is probably the hottest topic right now, you would say, right? 4 for 4. I feel like it is right on the stove right now. So we streamed last week. We talked, right? We talked about Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde went off the board right before the live stream last week to Seattle. That leaves us with options left. We have multiple options right now. We got Devontae Freeman, free agent, 28-year-old running back, right? We got LaShawn McCoy, one of the best Philadelphia Eagles, at least I've witnessed growing up, of all time. The team's all-time leading rusher. Do the Eagles go out and trade for a guy like Leonard Fournette? Do we stay with the undrafted free agent? Do we try to nurture these guys like Michael Warren? Do we try Elijah Holyfield, who has been in the system for a year? I want to get everyone's thoughts, so leave me in the comments right now, because I did a poll on this on my community tab, and it was very, very close. It had about 600 votes. But first, I want to hear from 4 for 4. What do you think the Eagles should do to address that bruiser-type running back position? And then we'll get to some of the comments.
Personally, I like our running backs how it is as of right now. I think taking a shot on one of, Holyfield or Warren, one of those guys, I don't think it would be too bad. And it's also a lot cheaper. Not that you can't get LaShawn McCoy for very cheap or even Devontae Freeman for very cheap. But, I do have some issues with trusting in a practice squad running back like Warren, Holyfield, or Killens. As we all know, they're not going to be, Boston Scott against the Giants of last season. We all know that. And they're practice squad guys for a reason. But honestly, it's not too bad to trust in them, especially because you have a guy that you are putting so much trust in with a Miles Sanders, and even with Boston Scott. Miles Sanders is your number one back, and you definitely have to keep him, getting the carries. And some of the times that he wasn't getting carries last year, he's definitely going to get this year. But you can't give him, obviously, every carry because you're going to wear him out. That's why I think just going with the cheaper option on this could be the best decision for the Eagles and the front office to maybe, during the middle of the season, if you need a bruiser or a veteran presence guy, then you can go out and get, LaShawn McCoy or Devontae Freeman, or even trade for a guy that's on the trading block.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I feel like you're right. Like, at this point, it's almost like, do we really need another running back? We have Miles Sanders. We have Boston Scott. We have, who is he going to make the team? Corey Clement. That's another question. Guys are forgetting about him. Had an amazing, rookie season. Helped us win the Super Bowl. At this point, we've been going back and forth. I talked about last week why I would like Shady McCoy back as a Philadelphia Eagle. I think as the Eagles are looking for this bruiser-type running back, they're also looking for someone to provide that leadership experience, that mentor for Miles Sanders, because I'm expecting Miles Sanders to take even a huger leap than he did this past season down the stretch. I mean, people forget he didn't even play really the first third of the season. So what I'm expecting from Miles Sanders, and he's talking about it, the MVP talk, I'm expecting him to go off. Do we really need another guy? I say if we do, it has to be, at $1 million, the veterans minimum, right? Devontae Freeman, he's asking for $4 million. But Devontae Freeman 3 and 4 years ago had over 1,000 yards, had 11 touchdowns. But the last 3 years, he's been plagued by injury. As these guys get older, I don't know about you, I look at like around the 30-year-old mark. Once they start getting to that age, it's kind of like, it's not fair, but it is at the same time. You got to make the business decision. And I just don't see the Eagles going out and paying $5 million for Devontae Freeman. And with LaShawn McCoy, I just don't know if they can trust his body to give them consistent carries every single week. So I'm kind of leaning more toward the in-house Michael Warren's Elijah Holyfield situation. If we were to go out and Leonard Fournette, that's another talk. But again, are we getting a 1-year rental? And like, what do we have to give up? I don't know. But let's see what some of these people said in the comments. Screw it. Give my lot of the ball in short yardage. No, Miles Sanders is a beast. Sign Devontae Freeman as a third string and have Scott as a backup Sproles role. Now, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I don't know about you, but the question is, does Devontae Freeman want to take that third string running back role? You know, like he's 28 years old. I feel like he's kind of betting on himself at this point. And are we going to pay a guy $4 or $5 million to be a third string? Just something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not paying my third string running back $5 million. That's just not happening in any system of running backs that I'm ever putting out. I don't care if I have, Marcus Allen or a Bo Jackson as my first and second string. No shot that I'm paying my third stringer who's going to get minimal carries.
What do you think about a name like CJ Anderson? My boy Bashir Randall, what's going on? He says, I think CJ Anderson is a better fit than both Shady and Freeman. What do you think about that?
We've been talking about a lot of these names. Me and you especially have been texting back and forth saying like, oh, do we want Shady? Do we want Freeman? CJ Anderson had a very good year with the Rams the last time he played. He was always a fairly good running back with the Panthers when he was playing. I mean, didn't they go to the Super Bowl and he was the starting running back? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he had a couple good games.
Anderson.
Yep.
Yeah, CJ Anderson is a very good back. He's definitely willing. I can't see him taking anything over the veterans minimum because I don't even think he played last season.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I feel like if we know Howie Roseman does things a lot that we really don't expect. He'll come out of nowhere and sign a guy like a CJ Anderson. To me personally, I feel like if it would kind of be a Howie Roseman type of signing. And if you could get him cheap, like I said, at the minimum, I wouldn't mind. I mean, CJ Anderson, I remember him eating like a whole bunch. He got fat, but he can run for a little fat guy. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't really mind a guy like that. Another guy I've been thinking about is Lamar Miller from the Texans. He kind of goes under the radar for me because even though, Carlos Hyde had over 1,000 yards, people forget Lamar Miller also had over 900, but it's just another name I'm throwing out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, I'm not disputing that Miles is a stud, but I don't want to run him ragged. I agree with that. People, talking about this whole big potential breakout season with Miles Sanders, but me personally, I do not want to run this guy into the ground. He can for sure be a 3-down back, in my opinion. I mean, on the ground and out of the backfield. But when it comes to Miles Sanders, it's like, I know the payday is going to come, right? It's going to come in a few years. He's going to want that Christian McCaffrey type money. And then what do we do? Do we run him 200 yards or 200 times or more over these next couple of years and run him into the ground and let him go? Like I said, it's been kind of unfair with the running back situation. Look at Derrick Henry, right? Look at some of these other guys like Melvin Gordon who are struggling to even revive their careers now because they were ran into the ground. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kara. I mean, you can't have a guy like Miles Sanders be just run, into retirement. You can't have that, especially for how good he could possibly become. You can't be taking, his carries now and burning them out for later in his career when we might need them.
Yep. Texas Eagle says Shady was a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl. We have to think with our heads instead of our hearts. I agree, man. Like, as bad as I want Shady McCoy back in Midnight Green, as great as it would be to see him and Deshaun Jackson on the same sideline again, like it would be paradise. But we also have to think here, like you said, Shady McCoy is 31 years old. Now, I'm not going to say he has absolutely nothing left because I don't doubt Shady McCoy. 2 of the 4 years with Buffalo, he had over 1,100 yards. He had, a season with 13 touchdowns. But as you get older, like I said, when you get above that 30-year-old mark, it's kind of like they start wearing and tearing. And at that age, I just don't know if he's going to gain a lot of market attention right now. I really don't. I feel like the Eagles know that he'll be there probably. Now, if they go ahead and sign him on a one-year deal, I'm guessing he probably wouldn't even get that many carries. He would be more so for that leadership aspect that I talked about. But it's interesting, do you want to put another hit on the cap? It's not going to be anything crazy, but it's still money that is contributed to another player. CJ Anderson got cut by Detroit last year. I'm actually more concerned with their O-line depth. No whiz now. We lost Vaitai. Now I know he's not great, but he's more average. Is Jordan Mailata ready? Go ahead and answer that 4 for 4.
We've been putting a lot of, attention on the Jordan Mailata, kind of train, as you can say, with the whole Amazon Prime event. They were putting a lot of attention on him, getting talked with a lot of the guys. And, he's kind of like a jokester with the team. And I would love to see him get a shot at least, and not just some preseason snaps, because that's all he's been getting. We see him on the sideline the majority of the time, actually all of the time in the regular season. But in the preseason, give him more than he's usually gotten over the past couple of years, because now we do need that depth. And you have a 6'7" monster, or a 6'9" or something like that monster on the sideline that you can use, because he is a body. I mean, anything is better than nothing, and especially when he's already on the team and you don't have to, go and find one. That's my take on that.
I agree with you. I think you can never have too much depth, and we're going to evaluate these guys. And we got to remember, guys like Jason Kelce are getting up there, right? Guys like, obviously Jason Peters is gone, but will Andre Dillard be that guy for us? I think it's still yet to be seen. I know they want him to progress into that, but there's going to be guys here, like I'm saying, like you said too, we need to evaluate these guys. We need to make sure, just like Ted said, we need to have enough depth, especially with this Eagles team, because we know better than anyone over the last couple of years, guys could go down just like that for the season.
Definitely.
But in terms of the running back situation, I would say we could finish this off by saying, and actually, I want to ask a question. I want to get your opinion on this, and I want to get the chat's opinion, because on that post, a lot of people talked about Leonard Fournette, and I've been hearing it a lot over the last couple of days. Should the Eagles go and spend a draft asset for a one-year rental? Like, I feel like a lot of these bruiser running backs for the Eagles are one-year rentals, essentially. Do you think it is worth it with the way our roster is shaped right now, in the position you think we will be in playing in 2020, like competitive-wise? Do you think we should go out and make a one-year rental and give away, a second, a third-round pick? You think it's worth it?
You see, with Leonard Fournette, I do like the guy a lot, and he is definitely the thunder to Miles Sanders' lightning, as Philly 500 always says in his streams and stuff. But, I do like Leonard Fournette a lot. Nothing against him, but I'm not giving up a second and a third for a one-year rental. That's just how I look at it. Because then, he walks. I would rather give those assets up for another Jacksonville Jaguar and Yannick Ngakoue. That's how I look at it, because I think you have the running back depth, and you do even have the D-line depth, but you have Yannick, and then you have Leonard Fournette. You could take your pick, and if they give you a pick, I would go with Yannick Ngakoue over Leonard Fournette, because I think the running back situation with Sanders is you only need a very minimal amount of help with Sanders as your number one back at this point in, already his young career.
Yeah, that's a great point. I feel like when it comes to Leonard Fournette, it almost seems like a lot of people forget, this guy's going to demand a contract next season. He's only been in the league 3 years. He's had over 2 1,000-yard seasons. This past season, he had over 1,000 yards, and he only played 13 games. So I feel like people forget, say we trade for Leonard Fournette, he's gone after this year. We're not going to pay him, upwards of $8-10 million a year when we still have Miles Sanders. So I like how you're thinking on this. Reserve some of that cap space, use it on something else. If we make a trade, I would never doubt Howie on it, but go for a guy that will be here for at least a couple years. But anyway, transitioning off of the running back position, and I guess this could kind of relate to that, but I want to know from you, and I want to know from everyone, what do you think are the next moves in the coming months? Like, if you were the Eagles front office, what is the next move you need to make? What position do you need to target?
That's tough, honestly. That is a very tough question because you can say, all right, are you going to go with the veteran back? Like, we don't really know what Howie's thinking. Do you go with the veteran running back? Do you go with, some linebacker depth? Jadeveon Clowney is still a free agent. We all know that. June 15th is the day where, you either cut him or you keep him. If Jadeveon is still a free agent by that day, his pricing is going to go way down. Do you take a shot? Do you just give him a 1-year deal and say, if you perform, we'll give you big money. If you don't, then you're getting walked.
Yeah, I agree. I think in terms of Jadeveon Clowney, it just kind of rings a wrong bell when it comes to him. I don't know if I could really see him being a Philadelphia Eagle. But like we always talk about, me and you, like, Howie can never get enough trench help. Like, we love the trenches, both sides of the ball. It's always a necessity. I could see us trying to pick up some depth, like we talked about the trenches. I think linebacker is still up in the air. Like, we'll get into it later on, but like, who is going to step up and be that main linebacker, of the whole core? Do we re-sign a guy like Nigel Bradham, bring another veteran back in here? I think there's a lot to talk about, but I'm really looking forward to see what we're doing at the linebacker position, and I hope we get some depth as well, and just really shore up the secondary. Just make sure we know who's going to be what as we get closer to the season. But let's see what some of the people here in the chat are saying. You guys are going crazy. Appreciate all the support. If you guys are in here right now, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to both of our channels. Let us know if you like these Philly collab streams. Appreciate all you guys that are in here. Sean Fitzpatrick, Eagles offense won't run any running back into the ground. They want to throw every down. A short pass equals a run in this offense. And I think that's a great point because I think the Eagles, I've said this before, this is just my opinion, but I think the run opens up the pass. Like, for some reason, Doug always tries to revert back to those Andy Reid ties. And it's just, we come out of the gate. Why do you think we start so slow sometimes? We go pass, and it's a 3 and out in a minute. And our defense is getting worn down. By the time they get into the late second half of games, they're just tired, I'm hoping that with Miles Sanders' progression, we'll kind of wake up a little bit in that aspect. Dylan C, what's going on? Says, do you guys think Dillard is ready to take over at LT? Would bringing back Jason Peters make sense? And this kind of echoes off what we talked about before. Me personally, I think it is time that Andre Dillard emerges. Give him the full offseason reps at left tackle. Sure, bring Jason Peters back. If Dillard were to go down maybe for a quarter, bring Jason Peters in, right? But I like Andre Dillard. He only gave up 1 sack, 1 QB hit in college. Like, he struggled a little bit last year, but it's normal. He didn't really get the first team reps. Now he has a full offseason to learn and understand more. I think he's ready to go. How about you?
Yeah, I like Andre Dillard. And, there's no point in wasting a first-round pick on Dillard because, that's what you gave up. A first-round pick is a lot. In aspect of it all, you can basically get anything for the right amount of, first-round pick. And because you signed Dillard, or now you drafted Dillard, I think it's time for him to step up and be that left tackle that you drafted him to be instead of wasting, his younger years and giving him less reps in his younger years to learn for the future.
Absolutely agree, man. Mr. Flyers fan 28, what's going on, bro? Appreciate you stopping by. Says it would be awesome to add Leonard Fournette to this backfield, but at what cost is the question? Like you said, like we both said, man, are we willing to sacrifice something that could be very valuable, especially heading into next year's draft with some of the needs that may open up for the Eagles? Good point. Philly girl, what is going on? Great Philadelphia content creator. I see you starting to make videos on the come up. Everyone go show her channel some love. Great Philly YouTuber. Anthony Perry, what's going on? Says mad shout out to Carson Wentz for being that real dude, a true leader. Mad respect. Hey, save your Carson Wentz comments. We got a lot of Carson Wentz to talk about today. As always one of the hot topics here up in this chat. Philly Fresh, what is going on, bro? Appreciate you stopping by. Another great Philly content creator. He's on the road to 1K. Go show him some love. We've just been talking about our offseason so far, some of our needs, what we're expecting at the running back position. We're just going through the whole thing, going through the whole cycle. Like I said, guys, the comments are going a little fast. So if I miss some of them, be sure to comment again. Appreciate everyone that's in here. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to both our channels. We're going to keep on going. Mr. Flyers fan 28, Carson Wentz and Miles Sanders have legitimate chances of winning MVP this year. 4 for 4. Your instant thoughts.
I'm loving the Wentz MVP talk. You know, we all know that I believe that he was definitely robbed of the 2017 MVP. You know, me and RB were just talking about this the other day. Sanders, I can see, but it would be a lot harder for a Miles Sanders type of back to win the MVP because he's not Christian McCaffrey, because Christian McCaffrey didn't have a quarterback last year. And this year, he now has, what's his face? I'm drawing a blank. Teddy Bridgewater. But Wentz and Sanders, you know, I think Carson has a better chance of getting, you know, MVP nods than Sanders. But, you know, definitely they could have legitimate shots at winning. I could definitely see, you know, them both ending in the top 10 depending on how their stats and where the team plays out to be.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I'm telling you, I'm a big believer in Carson Wentz. Like I said, or like I always say, I think that he has some of the tools, what it takes to win. And I think he can do some things that only few quarterbacks can. I think Carson Wentz, the hype should be now, right? Because last season, it still goes underrated. It still goes unnoticed. Carson Wentz played a full 16-game season. And me personally, I will not sit here and believe that he is injury prone based off of continuing off of last season just because he got hit by a cheap shot. I mean, it sucks. It's unfortunate, but I'm telling you, Carson Wentz is going to be ready to rock this season. All the help we're giving him, I mean, still, we haven't really given him that number one. But if our team is healthy, the speed that we have at wideout, the 2 tight ends, you know, we can play 12 personnel. Miles Sanders is taking that leap. I'm telling you guys, the time is now. That's just my opinion. Philly Talk Podcast, what is going on, bro? We got all the Philly YouTubers up in here. Appreciate you stopping by. One of the best content creators I know, my boy personally. Go ahead and check him and Philly Fresh and everyone out in here as well. Connor Murphy, do you guys think Carson Wentz will have a good season if he stays healthy? I think he's going to have a great season. Someone just talked about MVP. I think he's going to be up in that MVP race. I made a video on it. I'm telling you, Carson Wentz healthy, a majority of the Eagles offense healthy. My personal opinion, he's throwing for 35, 40 touchdowns. I think he's going to go off. All this talk, all this noise on the outside, it's just blinding us from the reality that Carson Wentz can play. And I think he's ready to have a big season, entering his prime, getting paid big dollars. I'm expecting big things.
Yeah, to add in on that, Carson Wentz had 4,000 yards last season with me and RB as the wide receivers. We now have a lot of more speed. You saw what happened when you gave Carson one speed guy for one game, 2 touchdowns, 150-something yards, and a W. Now you give him a backup and a backup and a backup speed demons on the outside. You know, Carson is definitely going to have a very good season if he stays healthy, and that is the biggest thing with Carson, as we all know, is if he can stay healthy. But if you really look at it, Carson's only missed 8 games in his career of what? This is his 4th season or upcoming his 5th season. He hasn't missed as many games as we think. It's just the big games that he has missed that we pay more attention to. But he hasn't missed that much. Yeah,
and I feel like Carson Wentz, you know, people while they talk about his injury history, right? They talk about all the little things, but let's not take away the fact that this guy has 80 touchdowns and 20 picks over the last 3 years. Like in the red zone, he's pretty much, lethal. He's almost perfect in the red zone. Last year, he had 20 touchdowns, no interceptions inside the red zone. Like when push comes to shove and when the big situations are there and he is on the field, I'm telling you, Carson Wentz is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think that Carson Wentz going forward is going to do big things for this Eagles team. Let me know in the comments if you guys think Carson Wentz is a top 5 quarterback, a top 10 quarterback. I want to get some of the thoughts up in here. Chat's going crazy right now. Appreciate everyone that's in here. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to both channels. Keep showing love. Appreciate everyone. Anthony Perry, that hat is live, RB. Appreciate it, man. Super Bowl champions on the side. Someone last week mentioned about Brian Dawkins' jersey. So, I got my B-Dog jersey on this week. Everyone showing Philly Mike some love in the chat. Burgang114, another Eagles YouTuber. Appreciate you, bro. Definitely going to get you on here one day. Like I was saying earlier, as we get closer to 2K, I'm going to start bringing some of the subscribers on here to talk Philly sports as well. Only the people that keep showing me all the love. Appreciate you guys. You guys mean everything. Trishan Tillman, what's going on? A loyal subscriber. Appreciate you for stopping by. Philly Fresh, my dude. J. Rick Reed, Miles Sanders, 38 yards total versus Dallas, November 1st. I completely disagree. And J. Rick is a good, he's at least can be somewhat objective of a Cowboys fan, but I absolutely disagree. I am predicting big things for this Eagles team come November 1st. I'm telling you, we are going to stomp the Dallas Cowboys November 1st at the link. Be there, be square, whatever you think. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing that day, be sure to wear your Eagles gear. I'm telling you, Carson Wentz is going to absolutely explode on the Dallas Cowboys come November 1st. We'll talk about later. We're going to talk about the Eagles schedule in a little while, but I think it'll come down, later in the season to that second matchup. But the first matchup, don't even start with that. The Eagles are going to implode. I mean, the Cowboys are going to implode, and the Eagles are going to explode on the Cowboys. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Sanders went off last year against the Cowboys in a very meaningful game. I mean, every week is a meaningful game in football, but when it's against them Dallas Cowboys, it's even more meaningful to some Eagles fans, and especially Eagles players. It's rivalry week. You get very excited when you're in high school and college about playing your rival. My rival is, the Highland Tartans. We play on Thanksgiving every year. It's such a big game. Everybody goes out. It's the same thing for these guys. Cowboys, Eagles, everything like that. And it's great. I love rivalry week in any sport.
Yep, absolutely agree. And there are some objective Cowboys fans, right? Like some of them can talk, but some are just so delusional. Some are just so delusional, and it pisses me off. But at the same time, I'm ready for rivalry week. Come November 1st, we're going to be going absolutely crazy. People here are saying Wentz is top 5. Wentz is number 6. I think it comes down to that 4 to 6 range. It gets very questionable, It's hard because they don't have the same, circumstances as each other. Philly Talk Podcast with the super chat. Appreciate you, my guy. Shout out to you as always stopping by. Says all the love, my guy. Big things, bro. You came a long way since our first live. And I remember that live. Crazy, man. The Sixers had just gotten beat by the Golden State Warriors. That was a pretty funny night. I don't even want to bring that back up. Hopefully we'll see some basketball, but appreciate you, Philly Talk, for always coming by. Be sure to go show his channel some love. If you have not already, I'm sure most of you have. Barn 5, what do you guys think of Logan Ryan? I think Logan would be a formidable corner if you went and signed him. I think he'll probably come on a little bit on the cheaper side, but not too cheap. I think he could be serviceable. But at this point, do we need a corner? I mean, we might as well talk about the cornerback situation. 4 for 4. Let me get your thoughts on Logan Ryan, and also let me get your thoughts on what are you thinking about the cornerback too? Who do you think is going to fight their way and win that battle?
I like Logan Ryan. I've always as weird as it is to say it, I've always liked Tom Brady in the sense, and going to the seeing Brady in the Super Bowl, I saw a lot of Logan Ryan and Malcolm Butler because who doesn't watch the big game every February? We all watch it. Logan Ryan has always been a very good cornerback, and I think he's from around here. I'm pretty sure he went to Rutgers.
Yep.
He's a good cornerback, and if you can get him on the cheaper side, I can definitely see him being a second cornerback option. You have a lot of these second cornerback options. You have, Avonte Maddox, who I think as of right now is the front runner for that second position. Obviously, you have Slay, who's number one, and it's not even close to being touched. You have like Crayvon LeBlanc. You have Will Parks, who he's a defensive back, so he can play either one, corner or safety. You can bring Jalen Mills back down. He can play corner too. Nickel Roby Coleman, you have him. But I think if you sign Logan Ryan, I think your best three cornerbacks at that point is, Slay at the 1, you have Maddox at the 2, and Logan Ryan at the 3. That's what I would say if we end up signing Logan Ryan.
Yeah, I agree. And on the other hand, I do think that Sidney Jones is going to get a real shot to win that cornerback too. A lot of people are down him, throwing him out. I think this is the final shot for Sidney Jones. What is it, like his third or fourth year? He's coming in. Like the time is now. Sidney has to show that he has something that can live up to that NFL stage. I know he had a rough draft combine a couple years back, tore the ACL, everything. But Sidney, you got to show us something. I think, with this whole trainer thing we're hearing about, I think Sidney Jones is going to get a shot, a real legitimate shot. But if not, like you said, I think Avonte is going to be at cornerback too. We have Nickel Roby Coleman, the slot god, Crayvon LeBlanc. I think we got a lot of good depth, and we're going to have some good competition battles, in the camp or however we do this now. Philly Fresh with the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Says good live. Keep doing y'all. Big ups to you, my guy. Been checking out all your content. Keep doing your thing as well. Appreciate you, bro. Christian Tillman says, I love supporting the channel. I also support Philly fan too. Can't wait to talk with you. Appreciate you, my guy. Augie Mandiscar, Cowboys fan, says, I would love to see Philly versus Dallas in the NFC Championship. What you think about that? I think Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia, would go absolutely nuts.
Man, if we had a Philly versus Dallas NFC Championship to go to the Super Bowl, that would be the most different thing ever. Like in sports, that's Celtics Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's just the same amount of a degree at Philly versus Dallas. Now it's one game, one and you're done. You either see your team that you hate the most go to the Super Bowl and have a chance to win that 6th ring, or now you have Philly fans that can brag and brag and brag because us Philly fans, we do love talking our smack, especially the Cowboys fans. Now we got that edge for an entire year, and then if we win, we threw a great parade the last time. I can't even imagine what will happen the day we beat the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship. That's a Super Bowl in itself.
Absolutely agree, bro. Absolutely agree. I mean, everyone would just go absolutely nuts, but the Cowboys have to get there. I mean, they haven't made the NFC Championship since 1995. Just serving as a friendly reminder for those Cowboys fans that like to come on and be so confident. But, all respect to the objective ones. Anthony Perry, you see Miles working hard for MVP. I can't just see 38 yards, my dude. Absolutely agree. You guys can get on him. Come on now. 38 yards for Miles Sanders? Come on, stop it.
Maybe 38 yards in the first quarter.
Right. Jay agreed, no, JK, it's going to be a great game now. JK, come on now. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that up in Eagle streams. Come on, man. Come on. Joseph Simmons, we lost to the worst team in the league.
I think he's talking about the Warriors chat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't even want to bring that back up.
Awful.
Thoughts on Sidney Jones? We just talked about it, but in essence, I'm kind of giving him more of a chance than other people are. I think they're looking for that expectation out of Sidney Jones that he's going to get a legitimate shot. I really think this is his last shot, and I think he's going to be playing with some type of chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I didn't talk about Sidney Jones, but I do like I like the kid, but he has to show us something. And if it's not shown by at least week 6, I think he's gone 100%. Even if he gets that shot, prior to that.
Yeah. Barn 5, what's going on, bro? Says, who else loves that Brady is still salty about that loss? I'm forever happy about it, and it just gets better each and every year. It gets better. I was just listening to Nick Foles' podcast today with Chris Maragos. He was talking about the whole Super Bowl, and then I remembered a couple days back. Tom Brady is still salty. He's still salty, and it's great. It's great.
Funny story about Chris Maragos. During the parade, he was like, I was on Broad Street, and he came right up to me and a couple of my friends, and he just started spraying us with champagne. So it's funny that Chris Maragos got brought up into the conversation.
I love Chris Maragos. He was a great special teamer.
Yeah, he was.
Joseph Simmons, if we don't sign anybody else, I see Avonte Maddox starting, but Sidney Jones ends up starting by week 4 or 5. So that's interesting. You kind of see it as the reverse. Like Avonte kind of has the helm, but if Sidney plays up, he could end up coming in. That's interesting. I like Avonte Maddox. I like how he plays. Our new DB's coach, Marquand Manuel, I've talked highly about him. We've heard about the way he coaches up players. He's been to the big stage a couple times. I think he's going to have a good impact on these guys. And I think whoever is at the cornerback too, they're going to have a great benefit having Darius Slay on the other side of the field at all times. I mean, I was talking about this personally with 4for4, but like, don't forget the magnitude of trading for Darius Slay. Like, that is one of the biggest moves of this offseason. He's going to lock down receivers. Like, we finally can kind of take a little breath. Like, we have that lockdown corner on our team. I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Darius Slay. Once these stores open up and everything like that, he's the first jersey I'm going to go get.
Yep, me too. Without Jenkins this year, I'm sure the Eagles' defense will be good still. I think so too. I actually talked about it a couple days back. I think the Eagles' defense is being very slept on, and this kind of leads me to a bigger question about the Eagles' defense and the offense that I wanted to get to. But first, you guys know what we do every single Friday. We stream, and we've been doing this thing where we take a little breaks in the stream, and I ask you guys for some bold fire takes, and you guys are always bringing the most fire takes in the comment section. So right now, I want everyone to comment in the comment section. Give me a bold prediction for one of the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me something crazy to be excited about. 4for4, you go first, I'll go after that, and then we'll read some of the comments off.
Well, I don't know how bold this is, but I think that I have 2. One, and it goes for big awards in the NFL. The first one, I got Darius Slay that definitely could win the Defensive Player of the Year. I could definitely see it. We have a little bit of a weaker, outside of the Cowboys, we have a weaker division with the wide receivers. And even though we still have, guys like Sterling Shepard and Terry McLaurin. Who else do you have? So now that you're locking up the best guy, the offense is the other side's offense is definitely going to take a hit, because now we do have a guy like Darius Slay who could very well be the Defensive Player of the Year. And also, I think Carson Wentz proves every Eagles fan right in saying that he is better than Dak Prescott, and I think he goes out and wins an MVP for what should be the second time, but in his career, the first time.
I like both of them. I really do. And my first bold take of the night kind of compares to your first one. Mine is actually about the defense, about our takeaways. The Eagles were 22nd in takeaways last year. For years now, the Eagles have not gotten a lot of takeaways. Like, we see, some of our corners just average, maybe a couple interceptions. Like, I feel like we need those game-changing plays. You know what I mean? Like, we, first, second quarter, if we were to get a pick 6, like, do you know how much that would change the game? First off, we've been starting off way too slow. But anyway, my bold take, I think the Eagles go from 22nd in takeaways. I think we jump up to top 7 this year. I think given some of the upgrades we have, given the pressure, right? Even on the ground, like our defensive line is going to be so good. I'm predicting them to be a top 5 defensive line. So we're going to be hitting guys hard. And I'm just telling you, I think there are going to be a lot more fumbles, a lot more interceptions. And I think the Eagles are going to be on the good end of the stick this time. I do. Let's see what some of the people in the chat are saying. We're a little behind on the comments. Let's see. Bold prediction, the Eagles finally beat the Seattle Seahawks. Boy, would that be great. Knowing, I feel like Russell Wilson always has our number. I feel like he always gets us somehow. So if we were to beat the Seahawks, that is a big game on the schedule this year for sure. Chris DeMayo, Eagles will be division champs. I don't care about winning anything else. Beating Cowboys and Giants, good enough for me. I love it. Born 5, Darius Slay, 9 interceptions this year. This kind of goes off what you said. If they're throwing the ball Darius Slay's way, I think he's really going to take, that leadership position here with the Eagles. I think he's going to man his defense. Wentz, 44 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I love it. Second bold prediction, Jalen Hurts scores a touchdown in the opener. Boy, would that be crazy. Some kind of play design, a flea flicker or, a motion play. Wentz throws it out to Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts throws it into the end zone. That would be absolutely nuts.
Yeah, some Philly special trickery with, Jalen Hurts. I could see it.
Crazy. Wentz, 45 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Slay wins Defensive Player of the Year. Wentz wins MVP. Philly will have the best 5 defense in the league this season. I absolutely love it. Djax, 800 yards, 10 touchdowns. What do you think about this one? Because Djax has been talked about a lot. I have my own opinion, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Injuries. It's all about the injuries with Djax. We know what he can do. I've said it in the stream multiple times. 150 yards and 2 touchdowns in one game. Let alone, we play that team twice, and we play the Giants twice. So now you got to think to yourselves, okay, 150, if he does half of that, he could definitely hit 800 yards and 10 touchdowns. It's just depending on the injuries with Deshaun Jackson and how we're also going to use the other wide receivers like a Jalen Reagor. Is Djax going to be more of a decoy type of player this year, or is he going to still be that number 1 kind of wide receiver that we looked for him to be last season?
I agree. I mean, Djax, he got offended when with that one guy he was saying, I'm the number 1 receiver. I'm telling you, if Djax is healthy, like we're finally going to see that connection with him and Carson Wentz. I think Djax, goes for 8 to 10 touchdowns. I really think he's going to go off as long as he is healthy. And I'm telling you, Djax could have a big impact on this offense. And I want to get to one of these comments back here that I saw. Philly Girl says, you think they start way too slow? I've been saying for years they are a third quarter team. I completely agree with that. The Eagles really do seem like a third quarter team. They come right out of the gate, second half, and they're firing on all cylinders. But just think about if they can produce that way in the third quarter and say in some of these games, they come out and score a quick touchdown and the first quarter with 10, 13 points, and they are still that good in the third quarter. Just imagine what kind of, production this offense could be putting up.
Yeah, I love the Eagles out from halftime. We always seem to do very well out of halftime. You saw us last year, week 1, 17, 17-0 deficit, 17-3, and we came back and we won that game.
Yep. Philly Girl, Hurts and Jackson go off week 1. What do we mean Hurts going off? Like what does that translate to? I'm interested to see what that means. But Djax, I'm telling you, he's going to go off against the Washington Redskins again. We know Djax, right? He loves to torch his old teams. I mean, he was a nightmare for Philadelphia for the years after we got rid of him. And we saw week 1 last year, just like you said. I think he's going to go crazy. Second take, Rhaegar, I'm guessing that's saying 1,000 yards, 17 touchdowns. That would be absolutely insane. I think Rhaegar is going to have a good impact in his rookie year. I don't know about 17, but trust me, Rhaegar, with the kind of positions that I expect our offensive coordinators or whoever, offensive assistants to put Jalen Rhaegar in, I think we're going to see him, ask him to give us a lot of snaps. I think we're going to throw the ball his way a lot, maybe on some short yardage plays as well. I think he's going to produce for us. I really do. I could see him being near 10 touchdowns.
That's a good take. That's a very good take right there.
I bring the best takes. Rick Bennett, I remember the Warriors-Sixers live stream. The frustration was at a high level. It was crazy, dude. It was crazy.
I would have been not even able to talk after that one.
It was sickening. Not going to lie, at first I thought we were going to use Hurts as a receiver like we did with Greg Ward. Look how that worked out. I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying, but in essence, Jalen Hurts is not Greg Ward, okay? I think that they're going to develop Jalen Hurts over time. People have talked about a Taysom Hill type role. People have talked about, do we put him out there as a wide receiver? Like, there's been all this talk. I think simply we're just going to develop him, and he really is the insurance policy for Carson Wentz. I don't really think there's much else besides it.
Yeah, Hurts is his own guy. He's not Ward. I mean, Jalen Hurts, he can scramble, but he's not Greg Ward.
Barn 5, Marquise Goodwin, 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. Could be if he stays healthy, if he keeps his feet under him. And this is the last bull take we'll have for the first half here, but don't worry, we will have another session coming up in a little while. It says Sanders, 1,000 rushing yards, 500 receiving yards. I think that's in line. I really do. With the type of season I'm expecting from Miles Sanders. I said it last week in a bull take. I think he could have 1,600, 1,700, 1,800 combined yards on the ground and in the air. I mean, I'm telling you, we're going to be using Miles Sanders in a lot of different looks, a lot of different situations. And boy, would he be able to help out this offense in so many ways.
I love Miles Sanders. Love him.
All right, but anyway, we're going to transition again. So we've talked about the running back situation. We talked about the offseason so far. We've talked about all of these things, what we need to do heading forward, the cornerback situation, everything. At this time, I think it's really a good time to transition into this. Let me know, guys, in the chat. As of right now, I know it's a far stretch look. We still have time to go. But comparing some of the rosters in the NFC East, like, who do you think, as of right now, would take the helm in the NFC East going into 2020? Like, who do you view as being the favorite, in the NFC East so far in the offseason? Let me hear from you.
As much as I hate to say it, I do got to say it. I just feel like the Cowboys will get the edge over the Eagles. I do really think that the media will give the Cowboys the edge over who will be favorite, but I'm not taking that favorite in any bet that I do. I'm taking the Eagles, and I say we do beat them out. I say we split. I do say that. We split the season series. It comes down to the last couple weeks, but instead of 9-7 and 8-8, it is now 11-10. 10-11 wins. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I got scared for a second there. I thought you were going to say that the Cowboys were going to take the division. I agree with you in some of what you said. I do agree that the Philadelphia Eagles, I think this is the year where we break the NFC East curse. I think the time is now, knowing what we have given Carson Wentz, knowing how we have upgraded, knowing how we finally have that protection on defense in terms of a guy like Big Play Slay. I think that the Eagles are going to take this division, but I don't agree with you that we are going to split. I think it comes down to that Week 16 game. I think we're probably both going to be tied at that point, and pretty much whoever takes that game is going to win the division. And I think the Eagles win that game. Like I said, I think we win on November 1st as well. So we go 2-0 against the Dallas Cowboys. We steal one in Jerry World, and they crown us division champions. That's what I think is going to happen.
There would be nothing better than winning that crown for back-to-back years for the first time in a decade in Jerry's World. Nothing would be better, except beating them in Jerry's World in the NFC East Championship.
It would be crazy. Tristan Tillman, Eagles. Camo Wolf, Dallas. Randy Stites, Dallas. Chris DeMayo, Cowboys, but I'm rooting for the Eagles. Interesting. King Poe, what's going on, bro? Says Cowboys, not Dallas. Joseph Wagner says Eagles. Texas Eagles. Eagles if healthy. And that is an important if. Like we always say, man, like the health is the most important factor. We've seen this team. I feel like the Eagles probably would have won the division, say last year. Well, I mean the year before when we played the Saints that year in the playoffs. I think we would have won a division that year if we were healthy. But we were in the playoffs. We were down to our third and fourth stringers. Like you just can't. You can only take so much, right? The Eagles have that kind of depth. But when it gets to that point, it's kind of hard. Yeah. Brendan Hopkins, what's going on? Says Dallas needs a quarterback. That is a very good point. Very good point. I mean, I don't want to irritate people, even though I've already done it enough. They try to feel some way. I've been trying to tell them they need a quarterback, but don't worry, they have Andy Dalton. Kahan, what's going on? Says Eagles. Sean Fitzpatrick, the Eagles. They won the division last year with Wawa workers at wide receiver. Say it again for the people in the back. Dak Prescott, when he lost Ezekiel Elliott a couple years back, he got significantly worse. Carson Wentz lost everybody at wideout. He lost everybody. He's throwing the ball to Greg Ward and Deontay Burnett. And what happens? We win the division. Everyone talked about that top Dallas offense, but who won the division? Who won the division? Born 5 Eagles. Rick Bennett says the Eagles will win both games against the Cowboys. Andy Dalton will start those games against us. I'm trying to tell you guys, when it happens, don't come back to me crying. I was the first one to say it. Who's covering Gallup and Lamb? Well, I like how these Cowboys try to shift, the focus off of Amari Cooper. Now, first it was big play Slay can't cover, but now all I've been hearing recently is who's going to cover Michael Gallup. It's pretty interesting.
Here's my thing. Who locked him up last year? Sidney Jones won the game for us last year. Sidney Jones, one-leg Jones, won the game last year for us. Now you have a healthy Maddox, maybe, and you have, a lot of guys that can now play the defensive back / cornerback position. We are so much more in depth at that position than we were last year. It's not even funny. And you do have Slay now. Yeah, you lost Malcolm Jenkins, but you have Amari Cooper clamped up. And Amari already, he isn't even that good on the road. We've seen his numbers from home games and road games. Do we even need to cover Amari Cooper? We didn't have anybody covering Cooper last year at the link, and we beat them. We whooped you guys. 17, like, we really did, and we still won.
Yep, and like you said, with big play Slay, I'm telling you, not only is it going to benefit, our second and third string corners, but here's my at least my hope is that Jim Schwartz starts playing more aggressive now. Like, we know Jim Schwartz has kind of been playing on the fearful side the past couple years, especially as guys start to go down, But now it's like, all right, we got Darius Slay. Hopefully, I'm hoping at least to see more blitzes, right? I mean, look at our defensive line. Look at some of the playmakers on the defensive line. And if you send an occasional safety blitz, a guy like Kayvon Wallace, who I'm expecting to step up, if you send some of these linebackers, if you send pressure on these quarterbacks, you don't got to worry about one of our corners biting on the double move. You got a guy like Big Play Slay out there who's going to lock them up, Can I get a toolbar thing, a wrench? I feel like I'm responsible enough. I got you, Joseph Simmons. Anthony Perry, Eagles are healthier this year. I'm taking the Eagles plus Wentz being the clear-cut leader is no question. Extra motivation from his teammates. Absolutely agree. Great point by Anthony Perry. Everything's on the line now, right? Because I feel like Carson Wentz thought, like, okay, maybe I'm finally out of that window from the whole Foles hangover, right? Like, maybe they'll start to trust me. But no, we are right back in that situation, in my opinion. And it's never going to stop. Like, he has to put up the numbers now, and he has to show us what he can do. And I think he did that down the stretch last season, and he's going to continue. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, I love Cowboys Eagles talk. I can talk all day about it. I have friends that are Cowboys fans, and we talk about it all the time, sitting back, just sitting on a couch, sitting outside, and we just love talking Eagles, Cowboys, and there's a more majority of us that are Eagles fans than Cowboys fans. But, I love talking about this topic. It is a very fun topic to talk about. And yes, we are all going to have our different opinions. Eagles fans might even disagree with other Eagles fans. But Cowboys fans and Eagles fans, if there's one thing, we will never agree on who's going to beat who and who's going to win the division. So at this point, we just have to face the facts. And, us Eagles fans are going to do what we say, and Cowboys fans are going to say what they say. And it's just that simple. But the rivalry is always there. It will always be here, and we love talking about it. Rivalry week on YouTube especially is the most hypened up week for us Eagles fans and even Cowboys fans to talk about. We love talking about it.
Absolutely agree. Can you untime out Philly girl? She got false timed out. I don't know why she got timed out. That's my homie. Don't be timing out Philly girl. Come on now, guys. I give you guys a wrench. Be responsible. You need a good quarterback to throw passes to the wide receiver. I think that's pointed towards the Dallas fans. Wentz does not finish the season. If I'm right, I think you're a Cowboys fan, so that makes sense why you would say that.
I mean, he finished last year and we won the division, so.
Yeah, apparently people forget about that. Man, you guys are going crazy in the comment section right now. I'm trying to keep up with all this. By the way, at this point, we have 34 people combined in here. If you guys have not yet, takes 1 second. Hit that like button. Help us out. Subscribe to Philly Take with RB. Subscribe to 4 for 4 Philly Fan. We're going to be streaming a lot more. Like I said, guys, a lot more live streams to come, a lot more collabs. And I'm going to get you guys on here once we hit that 2K threshold. Appreciate all you guys showing love. How did you become an Eagles fan? Well, me personally, it's just me. Like, growing up, it's been bred into me. That is just me. I'm a Philadelphia fan. It's just kind of, I was born into it. And forever, man, I've just been growing up since I was like 4 or 5 years old, just watching all the games. It's been my lifestyle,
Yeah, I mean, 4 for 4 Philly fans. So, but yeah, same thing. I live in South Jersey, so I'm not going to be a Devils fan. So, my mom's a big Flyers fan. My dad's a big Eagles fan, Sixers fan. And, the Phillies are always there. But, same for me.
When are you going to talk Flyers? Well, I've never covered the Flyers. I talked about this with someone a couple days ago. I kind of took a little break from the Flyers a few years just because they were pissing me off. But I watched my fair share of Flyers games. I might report on it eventually. Eagles, how is that CD Lamb pick working out? Well, it's good you mentioned that because I wanted to ask you a question. How is that number one offense from last year working out? Because that's all you guys talk about, right? Most yards in the league. Great. You lost the division to Carson Wentz. And as Sean said earlier, Wawa workers. Come on now. Be objective.
We had Robert Davis, Deontay Burnett as our guys. You had Gallup and Cooper.
Come on now.
It just can't even compare. That's not even a comparison.
How is your QB working out? If that's towards the Eagles, man, I'm just kind of like dazed and confused right now. Like, what are you talking about? How is your quarterback working out? Come on now. Stop it. Stop it.
He still hasn't gotten paid. Wentz, they came out with that list today with the highest paid players. Wentz is number 10. I don't see Dak anywhere in sight.
It's crazy. We're going to get to some more of these comments. Shout out to Randy Stice with the super chat. Even though you're a Cowboys fan, appreciate you. Says coaching and special teams cost us the division. Eagles would not have come close. You see, the problem is it's always a different excuse. Like you guys shift from one to the next in the matter of a couple days. I even heard people saying because of the CeeDee Lamb pick, the Cowboys purposely tried to lose the division so that we could get the pick. Stop it. Stop. Like, really? We didn't know CeeDee Lamb was going to fall to 17. Like, it just baffles me, some of the things you guys say. Now it's coaching and special teams. Okay, maybe that's true, right? But that's not what you were saying, down the stretch. It was you guys wanted to go to the playoffs, but you didn't. That's just the fact of the matter.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't even want to respond to some of them right now. I want to get into the next topic of discussion, all right? So we were just talking about the Eagles defense, right? We were talking about all these playmakers that we have. And I'm really curious to see. This is one of the most intriguing questions I have here. Chat 444, let me know. I really want to know which aspect of the Philadelphia Eagles will be better in 2020, the offense or the defense? I feel like all the spotlight has been directed towards the offense, but in reality, this defense has gotten a lot better on the low. I'm just saying, I feel like it.
Yeah, I'm going with the defense. That front seven, not even the linebackers. Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, you have Derek Barnett, you have all these guys. Then you add Slay. You have Roby Coleman. You have all these guys, Maddox, Jones, Parks, Mills. You have so many guys. And, you're forgetting one of our linebackers is now on the radar. He's radared up because now, NFL Network just ranked him as one of the most underrated signings, for the Eagles. So imagine what happens if he works out. But that's not even the main point. You have Slay and Fletcher Cox on the same defense. I mean, there's not much to say. You have top 5 players at both of those positions.
It's unbelievable, dude. And going among that, like, look at the D-line. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham is our longest tenured player, but he's still serviceable, right? Derek Barnett, I expect him to take a huge leap up, has a lot of potential. You go ahead and sign Javon Hargrave. The Eagles last year were 3rd in the run game. Imagine what they're going to be now. You replace Malik Jackson got hurt, right? These guys were dropping, and now we go ahead and add Javon Hargrave. We still have Malik Jackson. I could see Vinny Curry coming back on the second unit. Like, look at what we have there. These teams, right, we've seen the last couple of years, they've been forced to go to the passing game because the Eagles, for the most part, stuff the running back. We think about it. Did the Eagles really ever let up a guy, over 100 yards, maybe besides once or twice? I really can't recall it. They stuff guys at the line. But now, instead of these teams just reverting to throwing the ball 40 times a game, you got big play Slay out there. You have these other playmakers. I'm expecting Kayvon Wallace to take a huge step up and be maybe a day one starter. Like, I'm telling you, I think the Eagles defense, like you said, is going to take a huge leap up from 15th. I think we're going to be a top 10 defense this year. I do.
Yeah, before we get into the chat's thoughts, Kayvon Wallace is one of my guys to look out for this season. I love Kayvon Wallace. Love him. I don't know what it is. He just has something about him that I'm really excited to watch. Just watch him play, watch him learn, and all of that. I can't wait.
Absolutely agree. What's going on, bro? What's going on? We're just talking some Eagles offense and defense. Please pay Dak $60 million. That's a great comment right there. Go ahead and pay him $100 million. I don't care.
Yeah, doesn't matter to me.
Eagles defense is shot. This is crazy. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I wish you guys could be more objective. I wish you guys could. It makes no sense.
Shot? Byron Jones left you for the Dolphins.
That was defense. The guys are aging.
Our guys?
Come on now. Sean says the offense. Defense has a lot of youth. Youth makes mistakes. Offense is better if healthy. What do you think about that?
I could definitely see both of our offense and our defense being very good this season. I say the defense just because of, maybe the names out there, Fletcher Cox, Darius Slay. But, Sean could be 100% right about this. Carson is the leader now. We now no longer have Malcolm Jenkins. Carson is now in the leader spot. He is driving this group of guys to a potential Super Bowl championship. And we all know that. But I do like this comment a lot. The offense and the defense does have a lot of youth. So 100% you could definitely be right that the offense could definitely be the better of the two.
I agree. I think the offense is also going to take a step up. The offense was 14th, I think, last year. I think they're going to take a step up too. I just really think putting it all together, the number one factor to me is health. Like, can the team stay healthy? If we can, and as long as the coaching staff, like as long as we have things figured out, we're drawing up the right kind of plays, nothing like Mike Rowe did last year. I really think as long as we put these guys where they need to be, the right situations, these wide receivers are going to explode. And you have Miles Sanders and Boston Scott out of the backfield and one of these other backs as well. And then on defense, I'm telling you, I think we're going to hold teams, a lot of teams that under 20, 23 points. I really think we do. Eagles defense, top 7, says Barn 5. I'm telling you, it is a real possibility given what we have. I'm telling you guys, as long as Jim Schwartz, it maintains the right mentality. I hate watching Eagles games and there's no adjustments. I hate watching us getting torched and nothing happens. I think we got to send a lot of pressure. I do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I can definitely see the D line itself being top 3 in the league. Definitely. Like, it's crazy how much that D line, has. And we don't even have Vinny Curry. If you sign him back, Vinny Curry's no slouch. I mean, Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave are obviously going to be your 2 D tackles. Then you have Barnett and Graham. You have Malik Jackson, Vinny Curry. Like, you have so many possibilities and so many different, playing guys, just so much depth. And it's, it's really great. Honestly, it's great.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree. Sean says it's all about Casey Toohill for me. If I'm not mistaken, that was our 7th round pick. I think I heard a couple different things. Casey Toohill as a defensive end and as a linebacker. I think he goes as a defensive end. And like I said earlier, we just need that depth, like we need guys because, of course, your football team's going to have injuries. We just can't have as even close to what we've had the past couple years. If we are a healthy football team, we are a serviceable football team in the National Football League. I mean, like I said, we got younger, quicker, and we've just gotten better, in my opinion. I do think we have gotten better.
Yeah, a lot better, I think. Yeah, Kavon does have that dog mentality in him. Kind of like Dawkins. I mean, Clemson safeties. We have some history in that aspect. B-Dawk, RB's wearing them, and we're both, come on now. It's B-Dawk.
Telling you guys. Exactly how many offensive coaches do we have now? I last counted 75 on staff. I mean, I don't know. I just know all these names. I just don't know what their exact roles are within the offensive staff. Like, I don't know. They got to get that sorted out. Back in 2017, I was so confident having Frank Reich, having John DeFilippo, having those guys develop, a playbook for Nick Foles in a matter of weeks that took us to where we needed to go. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think this is a great comment right here. Do you all think Davion and Sean play real time in linebacker scheme this year? I actually wanted to get to the linebacker position because as in my opinion, I feel like that is the biggest liability right now on the Eagles defense. We shore up the linebacker position. I really think this is a top 5 defense. I do. I'll let you go first though. What do you think we do at linebacker? Who do you think is going to get the most playing time? Who do you think's going to be fighting? Let me know in the chat as well, guys.
I think Davion, what did we draft him in the 3rd round?
Mhm.
He's a good, he can be a good player. Yeah, he has barely played in high school, especially. But, he went to college and was drafted in the 3rd round with barely playing in high school. Obviously, he's an athletic guy. He's very talented. He and Sean Bradley are 2 guys that I do have, a little asterisk next to really pay attention to, especially, if we have a preseason, what guys are saying during training camp. But I definitely think Davion will get some time as a linebacker. I definitely see that. And maybe towards the end of the season because, maybe some guys are getting injured or because Sean Bradley is just dominating, down or in practice or whatever. I could definitely see Sean Bradley getting taken up, and playing some meaningful linebacker minutes during maybe towards the end or middle of the season. But I think Davion definitely gets some run week 1 and 2 and so forth.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna really be a battle come, OTAs and camp and all that. There's really no sure guys in my opinion right now. Like you could say Nathan Gary, obviously he played some meaningful minutes, but he's not gonna. I don't see him as being that guy to take over everyone. I'm still in. A lot of people have talked about it. Nigel Bradham. I'm telling you, we need a veteran. We need a guy who has some experience, understands the system. Who better than Nigel Bradham? Bring him back on a 1-year discounted contract, right? We don't want to pay him all that money. Bring him back 1 year. Let him teach these guys. I think Davion will get some snaps. I think Sean Bradley will get some snaps. Who knows? You got that guy Duke Riley who came over from Atlanta. TJ Edwards are talking about him stepping up and being great low key. I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys to choose from. I think they're all going to get a solid chance.
Yeah, just because we really don't have much at the linebacker position to really offer.
Do you think letting Malcolm Jenkins go was a mistake? I will stand by my own opinion on this, and I'm eager to see what everyone else says, but I absolutely think it was a mistake. I loved Malcolm Jenkins. I thought he was one of the best Eagles free agent signings I've seen. The value that he provided for this team. I know he had a couple bad games last year, but overall, what Malcolm Jenkins did, overall, just as a person, as a player, everything. I think Malcolm Jenkins letting him go for what he went for back to the Saints, we could have easily matched that. We could have given him more. I know we wanted to get younger, but I don't think that was the right move.
Yeah, neither do I. Who doesn't love Malcolm Jenkins? He did so much for this team, 3-time Pro Bowler, with the Eagles. He has just given them so many memories. Like, as fans, like the pick 6 on Brady in New England, the hit on Brandon Cooks. He's given us so many great memories. And, letting him go, because he was the leader of the team, but especially to see what the Saints gave to him, I feel like if you add Malcolm Jenkins to this defense with, Slay and Fletcher Cox, that big 3 on the defense would just have been something crazy. But I do like seeing that he's working with Rodney McLeod and Will Parks, on the stadium or whatever in Philly.
Yeah, I'm hoping McLeod can step up and take that main role on the defense, kind of gain some of that leadership knowledge from Malcolm Jenkins. That's what I'm hoping for. Our D-line is loaded. Absolutely agree. Casey Toole reminds me of Chris Long for some reason. That would be great if Toole was able to live up to Chris Long. I mean, like I said, a couple years ago, we had so much depth. It was almost like we had 2 sets of defensive lines on this team. You take the first unit out, the second unit's coming right in, and they are producing. You guys should live stream during Eagles games. That would be lit, man. I'm thinking about doing that this year. That would be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always down.
I feel like Malcolm Jenkins would have given us that extra step in our now defense. I agree. Like adding Malcolm to what we have right now, oh my gosh, dude. The Eagles defense is already going to be special, but if you add Malcolm Jenkins, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it would have been something dangerous.
Bradley is the more likely to play the position in 2020. Could be, given that Davion, like 4for4 said, is not as fully developed yet. Has to learn, that NFL defense. I think we bring Nigel back if we don't find anyone we like after June 15th. That seems like the manageable decision right now. I would think so. Kayvon is clearly committed to Philly. Did y'all see his tattoo? I love Kayvon for doing that. Everything the guy has said up to this point, it just shows me he has that dog mentality inside of him. And I'm telling you, I really think he's going to take that edge and be a week 1 starter for some reason. I do.
Yeah, I love Kevon Wallace. And, I could definitely see myself getting, his jersey just because of the dog mentality. Hungry dogs run faster, as we all know. Kevon Wallace is already, he's committed to this city. You can already tell.
Yep. Don't forget the linebacker added from the Chargers. Jatavis Brown you're talking about. Yeah, I think he's like 26, but again, he's been plagued by injuries as well. Everything comes with these injuries. We need people to stay healthy, We need guys that are going to be consistent that we can count on, and I'm hoping. We should still go after Yannick. I know you said 4 for 4 that we should still pursue Yannick. For me, I'm kind of up in the air just because I want to wait for the right time. I felt like a couple weeks back, when all that Twitter beef was going on with the Jags co-owner or whatever, I thought that would have been a great time to strike a deal, leading up to the draft. The Jags can't expect that much if their guy is just talking, off the radar like that. It's just crazy. But now, the Jags are going to expect Yannick to suit up and play. Whether he does is up to him. I know a lot of people have asked out of that Jaguars organization, but it's like at this point, I hope the Jags wouldn't, ask for something too high and how he would go ahead and strike a deal. Because like I said, I think we're going to need our draft assets for next year.
Yeah, I do like Yannick, though, like a lot. Like he could bring us to the Super Bowl with just his ability being there. Like it's a team game, but if you add a guy like Yannick Ngakoue on this defense, it could really do something special. But again, yeah, I'm not giving up a first and a second round pick for him.
I agree. Am I untimed out now? I don't know why, but I apologize. Philly girl, I'm sorry that you got untimed or timed out. I apologize. I don't know who did that to you. I didn't get to see. But come on, you can't time out Philly girl. Come on now. Philly Talk Podcast with the super chat. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, bro, for the super chat and staying tuned in for this whole time. We're almost at an hour and a half, and we're still rocking heavy. 24 people in here. It says Malcolm stay or big play Slay. Can't have both. Pick. That's a good question. Like I said, appreciate the super chat. If it was up to me, I'll go first. I would have to go big play Slay if I had to pick one. I'll let Malcolm go, keep big play Slay just because of that impact, just because of how miserable I've been watching these Eagles corners for years and years just get absolutely toasted. And there's nothing we can do about it. I'll go big play Slay.
Yeah, it's a very tough decision for, every Eagles fan to pick between a guy that, you love in Malcolm Jenkins or a guy that you desperately need, as RB said, in Darius Slay. I do agree with RB, though, and I would pick big play Slay over Malcolm Jenkins just on the aspect of, he's what we needed more. He's what we needed more other than Malcolm Jenkins, as hard as that is to say.
Yep. Malcolm stays because of the mentality that he brought here. I think that's a good point. Like Malcolm brings that to the defense, but I'm expecting Darius Slay to be a vocal leader as well of the Eagles defense. Like if Darius Slay wants to get up and talk some smack, I'm not opposed to that. I want him to have that Malcolm Jenkins kind of swagger. I wouldn't mind it. Malcolm had to go out. Corners were way worse, and McLeod is a decent safety, and I like Parks. Absolutely agree. And don't forget Kayvon Wallace as well. I think he's going to be a stud for the Eagles defense. I would love Yannick still. I would take Yannick over Clowney. I would agree with that, as long as the price is fair,
100%.
Who is more productive for the Eagles in 2020, Alshon or JJ Arcega-Whiteside? And we talked about this last week. For some reason, I feel like JJ Arcega-Whiteside is going to have at least a better season, obviously a better season than last year, but I think he's going to have a decent season. I think they want him to develop into what Alshon was for this team. The question is Alshon going to be here? I don't even know. I think as long as they see some potential out of JJ, Alshon could be gone after June 15th. But I'm going to go with JJ. I got some optimism. A lot of people don't. I'm going to try to be optimistic here about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend on, is Alshon even going to play before November, or is he just going to get cut? I mean, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, he better do better than last season. I mean, it's really not that much. It's not that hard to catch more than 10 balls this upcoming season, especially because now you are, a jump ball threat for us. Like, you should be that jump ball guy for us. You're a lot taller of a receiver than, the speed demons that we have on the team. And if he can prove, in the early weeks and in preseason, I think JJ Arcega-Whiteside will also be the more productive Eagle in 2020.
I agree. Would you guys choose Andre Dillard over Jason Peters? I think at this point, I would absolutely choose Andre Dillard as the guy moving forward. Like I said, I would not mind bringing JP back to help mentor Andre, just like I assumed he did last year. But at this point, I think we're firing on all cylinders. I think we're ready to rock with Andre Dillard. And given the other pieces on our offensive line, telling you, I think our offensive line is always consistent, and I think they need to do a great job protecting Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I like Dillard over Peters, as right now anyways, also.
Did you see Malcolm Jenkins work out with Ronnie McLeod and Will Parks not too long ago? True leader, always an Eagle. Yes, I did see that. 4 for 4 was mentioning it. I think it's great. I want Rodney McLeod to learn from a guy like Malcolm Jenkins. I want him to get in that rhythm, get in that mode. Like, it's my responsibility now. I need to step up. I need to do the job. And Will Parks, I think he's underrated. He's going to provide some good depth for this Eagles team as well. Will Parks is a guy to me that you can put in a lot of different type of situations. You can even bring him up in the box. And I'm telling you, we're going to see a lot of different looks from this Eagles team, in my opinion.
North Philly kid. I mean, watch out. This is what every kid from your hometown, that's what you want. Make it big and play for your hometown team. And he's on a 1-year deal. He's got to show out, and I think he will Parks.
According to Jeff Mosher, they are 99% not bringing Bradham back. I don't know if that's true or not, but I would hope not. I really would love to see Bradham back in a midnight green uniform. Texas Eagle, appreciate you for stopping by, bro, as always. Don't forget what Alshon did for us in the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl. Trust me, there are a lot of people hating on Alshon Jeffrey. I am not one of them. I am completely respectful and appreciative of what Alshon Jeffrey brought to this team, especially in 2017. Given the injury, played with a separated shoulder, a torn labrum. Like, I appreciate Alshon 100%. I think if he's healthy, he's still a good receiver. But the question is his body going to be in the shape that we need it to be in? And I just can't say for certain that the answer is yes.
I mean, you got to think of it like this. Corey Clement has a job in 2020 with the Philadelphia Eagles for what he did that rookie season and in that Super Bowl. We will always remember what Alshon did in the Super Bowl and that whole season in general. He said before he was traded, whatever team I'm on, we're winning the Super Bowl. He was right. They won the Super Bowl. And, Alshon for the Eagles, he will always be a part of that team, whether he plays this year, whether he gets cut. But Alshon, in my heart, in my eyes, will always be an Eagle as long as, his playing career goes.
Clowney is a master cheap shot artist. Every good team needs a guy like that. I understand what you're saying. I just don't know how he would fare with the Eagles fans, like this atmosphere here, especially given what he has said in the past. I just don't know how those things would go together. But at this point, I think it's time for another set of bold predictions, takes, whatever you guys want to throw at me. I got one. I know 4 for 4 has one. I'm going to let him go first. But everyone in the comment section right now, give me some crazy bold prediction. Give me a fire take that you want to run by and put on the screen, man. I need some energy. I need something crazy. Get us going, man. Come on.
I honestly believe that the Eagles will lead the NFL in interceptions this year. That's what I'm going to go. I'm going to say that the defensive backs, the secondary is going to take a huge step from last season. You have a lot of depth. You have a lot of ball hawks on this team, Kavon Wallace being one of them that we haven't even seen yet. We have a lot of these guys. Again, a ton of depth. And I say that the Eagles lead the NFL in interceptions for this season.
I absolutely love that bold take. Mine, the second one I'm going to go with, and I feel like it's gone so far under the radar, Eagles special teams. We need to capitalize on special teams. You remember back, I forget what year it was. It was like 2015, I think, 2016, around there. Dave Phipp, our special teams coordinator. Remember, it was like every game we were getting a punt return, for over 50 yards. We were getting a blocked field goal, a blocked punt, something like that. I feel like if this is a year where we could step up and capitalize on special teams, which we really have not done for years, I think it can make something special. It can make some of these situations a lot easier, like having a blocked punt or something and we recover or something like that. I'm telling you, that's just my bold prediction. I think the special teams is going to be on the come up this year.
Who do you think our punt returner is this year?
I think we have, some serviceable options. I think we got a lot of guys. This one guy I'm really looking out for is Adrian Killens, the guy everyone wants to keep on the roster, the speed demon. I could see him, returning some kicks, but if not, I got a feeling that Corey Clement or Jalen Reagor is going to be back returning kicks. What about you?
Yeah, I also agree with, basically everything that you just said. I can see Reagor getting a lot of time back there, especially in the beginning of the season, just to get him, some NFL contact, get him some hits. But, Corey Clement, he did play that position last year before he was injured. So, you do have now, even Boston Scott, you really could put back there. So now you have 3 or 4 guys that could really be serviceable guys, like a Darren Sproles with Killens and especially Boston Scott, who are smaller guys but are shifty and can move, from side to side a lot better than most players.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's going to be big. I think some of these, we can't go a whole season and not really make an impact on special teams. It shows up. It really does. Like, you ever wish, like, you just need that one turnover that could really change a game, in my opinion. Philly Talk Podcast, appreciate you, bro. We're definitely going to be, Collab said, getting a lot of people on here for sure. I wonder what team Malcolm Jenkins will retire as, a Philadelphia Eagle or a New Orleans Saints. That's a hard one, man. I don't even know. I can't even give you an answer to that question. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it could be an Eagle for like a one day, just like B-Dog did, but, it's going to depend because he won with both. But I feel like with the Eagles, he was the leader of that Super Bowl team. So it could go either way, though. He started in his career as a Saint, or he could end his career as an Eagle.
Yep, I agree. Sean Fitzpatrick with a bold take says Jake Elliott misses 4 field goals and 7 extra points. Hey, I'm not going to be negative here, but honestly, I mean, Jake Elliott has some issues he needs to fix. I feel like this guy can kick a 50-yard field goal and miss a 20-yard extra point, like after a touchdown. Like, it's just weird sometimes, but the Jake Elliott I saw back in 2017, we need that Jake Elliott back. We need him to be, a for sure every single time he's kicking back there. Bold prediction from Kahan, best return game in the league. We are too fast. I absolutely agree. We have too many guys. We're too fast. We got a bunch. We have a track team on this Eagles team.
Yeah, we're speed.
Let's see. Jalen Hurts catches more touchdowns than OBJ next year. I absolutely love that prediction. I'm telling you guys, I talked about it a couple months back. when I made my video about OBJ coming to the Eagles potentially. I'm telling you, OBJ needs a new start outside of the Cleveland Browns. And I'm not going to lie, with the packages that we could use Jalen Hurts in, you might not be wrong. You might have a good chance of that one there. I love that one.
Yeah, and it's crazy how talented Odell is and just how much they just can't give him the ball in the end zone. I don't understand. How are you not looking for, what could potentially be like a top 7 receiver in the league? Why aren't you throwing him the ball in the end zone? I don't understand that.
I love it. I like Greg Ward on punt returns. He averaged 3 yards after catch. Explosive. Another guy, another name you got to watch out for sure. We have so many guys. Yo, RB, how much longer are you streaming? Right now, we got 23 people in here. Hey, this is a fun collab stream. We're gonna keep going for a little while as long as you guys are enjoying this and bringing the energy as always, man. Philly Talk Podcast still don't got a rent. I got you, bro. I got you. My fault. Let's see. Eagles go back to the basics, sacks leaders. I think that's a great one. A lot of the guys on the defensive line, could have upwards of 8 to 10 sacks, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, Malik Jackson. If you sign back Vinny Curry, Barnett, Graham, these guys are just sack. They're just a sack waiting to happen, these guys. Then you can get some, like I could definitely see Kevon Wallace getting 1 or 2 sacks this season, 100%. Him coming right out of the edge, just coming right through that line and just giving the Eagles fans what they want, getting the crowd real hyped up. I could definitely see that.
Absolutely. All right, we have 23 people in here. If you guys take 1 second, hit the like button, subscribe to both of our channels. Let us know if you enjoy this. Let us know if you want more Eagle stream. Like I said, I'm going to be collabing with other YouTubers, collabing with 4 for 4 again very soon. And once we hit 2K, I'm telling you guys a giveaway, and I'm bringing you guys on here to talk Philadelphia sports. I want to transition into something now, and I need everyone that's in here right now. I need your input, all right? We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles schedule. We talked about it, right? The Eagles have a hard schedule. The Eagles have a hard, set of opponents, 3-week stretches for 2 times in a season. I talked about it before. I said the Eagles, if healthy, are a 10 and probably 11 win team, maybe even 12. But if they are not healthy, like we've seen the past couple years, they could be a 7-win team. Just my opinion. The pendulum can swing very easy. I need to know from you guys right now in the chat. We got 26 people in here. What will the Philadelphia Eagles record be in 2020? What will the Eagles record be? How many games do the Eagles win? 4 for 4. You can take the first shot at it.
I did my own video on this a couple months ago, maybe a month ago. And I said 10 or 11 wins. The reason why I'm not going above and the reason why I'm not going below, because we won 9 games last year with a bunch of scrubs. No offense to those guys, but they were scrubs. Robert Davis and Deontay Burnett are guys that should not be in the NFL. They shouldn't be. And we all know that because they were practice squad guys. I'm saying I'll go 11-5. And the reason why I go with that, the depth. I've talked about it a lot this stream. The depth on the defense, the depth on the offense. You got to think. We had speed 1 game last year, and it was with Deshaun Jackson. You have Rager. You have Goodwin. You have Hightower. You have all these guys. Then you have Jackson, who was your 3rd-string defensive tackle. I mean, Malik Jackson was a starter on a very good Broncos defense a couple years back when I think they won the Super Bowl. So you got to think, if he's your 3rd guy and he's coming off the bench to give Fletch a break or, Hargrave a break, the depth of this team could really go as far as even to bringing you to a 12 or a 13-win season. But I'm going to keep it realistic here, and I'm going to go 10 or 11 wins. I'm leaning more towards 11 if the Eagles can stay healthy.
Yeah, I agree. First I had said 10 wins, but as I've thought about it more, seeing some of these moves we're making, I'm going to go with 11 wins as well. I really do think that the season, the division title comes down to week 16 against the Dallas Cowboys. And I think we win it and we win week 17 against the Redskins, I think we finished with 11 wins. I really do. I think this is the time for the Eagles to break the NFC East curse. And like you said, I think we can do it this year. Let's see what some of these people said. Mr. Flyers fan, appreciate you, bro. Eagles go 9-7, fair. Sean Fitzpatrick 10-6. Stephen Joyce 13-3. Very bold prediction. I like it though. I like it. Kahan 11-5. 9-7, 13-3. I got big hopes. I love it. 10-6 at worst, 12-4 at best. Mr. Flyers fan, 11 wins. I'm saying schedule is tough, though. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna talk about some of these opponents in a second, but I respect that. I'm objective as well. These are some tough opponents we're gonna be playing. 13 wins is the ceiling. Healthy 10 wins is the floor. Injuries. 10-6 would be the smart bet, but I'm thinking 12-4. I like it. 11-5. Teams won't be able to handle our speed on offense and our ball hawks on defense. Great point. Let me ask you guys as a follow-up question, as Mr. Flyers fan was just talking about, what games do you think are going to be the hardest for the Philadelphia Eagles to win? Because I have my opinion, but also, could there be a couple trap games in here? We know. I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes too many times. A week 3 matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's going down as a thriller. Like, could there be some trap games in there as well that you might think the Eagles could struggle with? Let me get your guys' opinions in the chat. Keep it coming. Appreciate all the energy. 4 for 4. What do you think?
I think the hardest games that we have to play this season are definitely the Ravens. And even though it's at Lincoln Financial Field, the Ravens are just so much – they're a threat. Lamar Jackson is a threat. Same thing with, Seattle you have in there, and you have, the Saints. But I'm thinking the hardest game we have to play this year is against the Ravens. We only see them 4 times a year. We've never seen a guy like Lamar Jackson since, Doug Peterson has been the coach, as you can say. And, I think – it's going to be a hard game. I don't know if we win that game, but I think it could be a very classic game. The 2 trap games I have are against the Rams in week 2, and I have one game against the Giants being a trap game later on in the season against the Giants in MetLife Stadium after the bye. I think that could be a trap game just because, it's division, and we all know playing in MetLife is something different. That's the 2 trap games I see, and the hardest game, again, is the Baltimore Ravens. That's what I see.
I think that's pretty interesting. I'll talk about the trap game first then, because you say the Giants. I think that's interesting. I know it's hard to play division rivals on the road, but for some reason I got this feeling that we're going to sweep the division, and that is what is going to give us that boost. I think we go 2-0 against the Redskins. I don't see the Redskins or the Giants as threats to us at all. I think the Redskins are a few years out, but I don't see them being threats. I think we sweep those guys 4-0, and we beat the first game against Dallas November 1st. And then week 16, I'm telling you, I think it comes down to that. I think we win that final game. But like you said, the 2-3 week stretches, 49ers, Pittsburgh, the Ravens, and then later on, Seattle, Green Bay, and the Saints. That is really what it comes down to at the end. And I'm telling you, it's hard. I think the Ravens, like you said, are going to be a hard game. The Eagles seem to have trouble with mobile quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, like Russell Wilson. I could see the Ravens and the Seahawks being the hardest games. The Saints, I think, will put up a show, but you always gotta respect the Saints. They have a great roster, up and down. They even got better. So even if we were to lose those 3 games, I wouldn't be mad, but we can't lose any of these games. I could see potentially the Arizona Cardinals being a trap game. I know we've struggled against the Cardinals throughout our history a lot of times, and Kyler Murray, that offense, I'm telling you, the Cardinals could be a sleeper team. The Cardinals could be a sleeper team in the NFC. I can see that as a trap game for the Eagles.
Before we get into the comments, my biggest, boldest take for the NFC, I think the Packers aren't making the playoffs this year. That's my boldest take, is that the Packers don't make the playoffs and the Bears win that division.
I could see that. The Bears, that's interesting, though. That is interesting as the Bears. Do you think Nick Foles will be the quarterback?
Yeah. Foles takes over week 3, win the division 10-6.
Very, very interesting. I like that. Sean Fitzpatrick, the opener at Washington is a solid litmus test. Division game. Let's see what happens. I agree. As long as we don't start out slow like last year, I think we're going to blow Washington out of the water, man. I think D-Jax is going for another 2 touchdowns. Cowboys, Saints, etc. Trap game, Arizona Cards. I absolutely agree. The Cards, I'm telling you, they're going to be a sneaky good team. 49ers, Saints, and Seahawks make me nervous. The 49ers are another one. I don't know why. I feel like Jimmy G cannot handle the pressure as long as we bring it that Jim Schwartz is going to bring on Jimmy G. I just feel that way. At Green Bay, trap game, Arizona, Cleveland. Cleveland could be another one. I don't know how I feel about Cleveland. You know, they get all these pieces, and then what do they do last year? They fall, and they fall. Trap games, Browns and Seattle. Trap games, Steelers. Could be another one. Never know. Philly girl, hey, here we go. Appreciate you for being back in. I don't know why you were timed out. I apologize for that. Trap game, Cardinals. Hard games, 49ers, Ravens, Saints, Seahawks. I absolutely agree. You guys are coming crazy in the comment section right now. I'm trying to stay on top of it here. Appreciate you guys. If I don't read your comment, just go ahead and comment again. I think this one's for you, 4 for 4. Bears offense isn't good enough to win their division.
That's why I only have them at 10-6, because that defense, the defense can win you games, as we saw a couple years back. I mean, that offense really wasn't much when we played them 2 years ago in the playoffs. They were better. Trubisky was better. But now you have Foles. If you can get Foles at least 1 or 2 weapons, if he starts, I think they could definitely win the division. I'll go as far as saying the Vikings could also win the division, even without Stephon Diggs or a guy like Everson Griffin if they don't bring him back. I just don't see the Packers winning the division. That was like the bold take, but the Bears was just a throw-in bold take.
The Redskins did improve with Chase Young, Kyle Allen, and Randy Moss's son, Thaddeus Moss. I do agree. I think the Redskins are a few years out still. I think Ron Rivera will make them a better team. Could see them winning 6 games this year. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to the Eagles and Cowboys. And this is what I want to ask you guys now. In terms of the Eagles-Cowboys, like me, you guys have heard what I said. I think it's going to come down to Week 16, Eagles-Cowboys in Jerry World. And the Eagles are going to have to steal one on the road. But I want to hear from you guys, all right? What do you think the Eagles' record in the division will be? We heard 4 for 4 say we could have a potential trap game against the Giants. Maybe someone, like this could say 1 against the Redskins. What is the Eagles' division record going to be? I'm going to go with 6-0. I really think we have to go 6-0. I think we will.
Yeah, I'm going 5-1, 6-0. That's I don't see us going anything under that. 5-1, 6-0. And the 5-1 could just be the trap game, but the Cowboys, we could beat them both times this season.
Do you think we will need to win Week 16 against the Cowboys? Like, do you think that is imminent for us?
It's funny you say that, because that's been like a thought in the back of my head the entire stream. Like, will the Cowboys and the Eagles have to go head-to-head Week 16 in Dallas and fight for the division? Again, just like last season, but at the link. And I think, yes, but it's going to depend on Dak Prescott and the money that will be thrown to him. Because if he's not getting his money, if they're just going to franchise tag him, then no. Because I think Andy Dalton takes over, and I think Andy Dalton doesn't get the amount of wins that Dak Prescott could be able to get. But I do think Week 16, it will come down to, Eagles versus Cowboys in Jerry's world, just because I think that Dak will eventually get the money. Hopefully $100 million per year.
Right. I agree. Just a side comment here. Mr. Flyers fan says, would you add Josh Gordon to the offense if he gets reinstated? Me personally, I'm gonna go with no. I like Josh Gordon as a talent, but I just don't think I'm sorry. Like I just think he's a little messed up, you know, like he just seems to keep reverting back to the same end result.
Yeah, I mean, I know the rule of now that you can use marijuana legally, I guess, but Josh Gordon is just not, like I don't see it anymore. He played with the Seahawks last year and he was cut again. I don't see it. I don't see him being back in the NFL ever again. Great minds think alike.
Am I wrong for laughing when Quentin Dunbar got arrested because he was the one fighting D-Jax?
Didn't two cornerbacks? No, Seattle's did too. Seattle and Washington, right? Those were the two guys.
Yeah, it was crazy. Here's some of the division records. We're getting to them now. Augie says 5-1 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Camo was 4-2. It's interesting. I wonder who the two losses are to. Sweep 6-0 or 5-1. Joseph Simmons 6-0. 6-0. 5-1. 5-1 division record. Hey, this is pretty interesting. If we lose in our division at all, it's to a revenge-hungry Dwayne Haskins. I think that's a pretty interesting question for the Redskins to figure out who their quarterback is. And then they'll start getting some traction. 5-1, we usually lose once the Cowboys. That is true. I just think given the circumstances, I just don't think it can happen this year if we want to win a division. 5-1. 5-1. We have to beat Saints and Packers 7-1 heading into the bye. That would be pretty crazy, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. I could see it happening. I feel like it's all a matter of momentum, you know, like when teams get hot. Like, sure, we could be 7-1 heading into the bye, but if we go on a bad stretch and lose a couple, I'd rather get hot later on in the season, you know, head off to Jerry World Week 16 and take one from them and win the division. I would.
Yeah, I mean 7-1. That would be awesome. If we were 7-1 heading into the bye, you know, I think we're definitely winning the division then.
100 million a year for Dak. I like that. I like it. I love it, dude. Give him all the money he wants. Give him all the money he wants. And that brings up one of the last topics we will be talking about. Carson Wentz. All right. We always talk about Carson Wentz, all the noise going on, everything going on with him and Dak. To me, it kind of seems like the Eagles are in a good position regarding their quarterback. They know who their quarterback one is right now heading out, you know, as we continue the offseason. But I want to hear from you guys in the chat. What are your expectations of Carson Wentz heading into the season? Will he stay healthy? If a majority of the Eagles offense is healthy, will Carson Wentz live up to that MVP potential that we have talked about, right? Will Carson Wentz do what he needs to do to win this division, to take the Eagles team deep into the playoffs? Like, me personally, I feel that if Carson Wentz is healthy, I really do think that this Eagles team will strive and we can win 11 games, maybe 12 games. But I'm expecting big things from Carson if everyone's healthy.
Yeah, same thing with me. I mean, Carson Wentz, you know, I went to the playoff game last year and, you know, watching him with the towel over his head walk back into the locker room was like, like it was awful because one, I wasted my money going to see Josh McCown when I went to go see Wentz, but it wasn't even about that. It was just like, wow, like now we have to wait again to see if Carson can play in the playoffs. It's just been this thing hovering over, especially Carson Wentz's head, but also over Eagles fans' heads, and saying they're just giving Carson so much hate, and he's a good dude, and it's so like undeserved because he is such a good player, but they will always bring up the conversation of Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, Carson has never won a playoff game, and all of that, and it's just like an awful feeling to know because I just want Carson to succeed. We paid him the money. Now go out there and know what we know you can be. And if he can stay healthy, I think the Eagles finish better than I expect them to. And I think he does stay healthy this season. That's my take on Carson Wentz.
I agree. I think he's going to explode. I could definitely see Carson Wentz in the MVP conversations up in that realm. I'm telling you, with everything going on off the field as well, just all the noise. Carson Wentz just needs to dial in and be that 2017 Carson Wentz. And don't get me wrong, he's not played bad over the last couple of years, but I'm expecting huge things from Carson Wentz as long as a majority of this team is healthy. I expect Wentz to stay healthy and lead us all the way this year. Love it, Philly girl. Love the optimism. My bold prediction, 45 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I love it. Wentz is usually in that range of 7, 8, 9 interceptions. And I could definitely see him above 40 touchdowns this year. I would love it. I really would. This is year 5. Wentz takes another huge step this year in solidifying his legacy. And I think that's a great point. Like, now is the time. Like, sure, we drafted Jalen Hurts, but we paid Carson Wentz. He's entering his prime. Like, he's at the age now. He needs to show up. He needs to produce. And if he were to take the Eagles deep in the playoffs this year, like, I really hope people come together. When week 1 comes and Carson Wentz suits up, I hope people just come to support this guy. Just let him know, like, we are here for you. We trust in Carson Wentz too.
Yeah, I mean, Carson's our guy. Like, he is our – without Carson, there would be no Super Bowl in Philadelphia. Foles started the season the very next year, and Carson came right back, maybe a little bit too early, but I really believe that there would be no Super Bowl if there was no Carson Wentz in the city of Philadelphia.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for an 11-2 start, if it wasn't for how we were just blowing teams out of the water, there would be no Lombardi trophy in Philadelphia. Augie says the Watson, Jackson, and Mahomes deal is coming up. After they get paid, Wentz will have to be paid a lot of money. To be honest, I think that the 5th-year option of $45 million makes sense. And I'm guessing you're talking about Dak Prescott here. I don't understand when you say Wentz will have to be paid a lot of money because he's already been paid. He got paid before last season. So I'm not too sure what you mean about that. But I think Mahomes is about to get paid, a crazy contract, like out of the wall, blown out of the water type contract. I think Watson's going to be paid. And I think Lamar's going to be in a similar nature. So in terms of Dak Prescott, they need to hurry up and pay him. But for Carson Wentz, I love the contract. 4 years, $128 million. We really got this guy at the right time, the perfect time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the Carson contract really isn't as bad as people think. Like, as of now, yeah, it looks a little much for a guy that, some people say, oh, well, he's never won a Super Bowl or a playoff game. But for Eagles fans, when you look at the guys that have to get paid, Watson, Lamar, Mahomes, that contract is going to be bottom 20. Instead of top 10 in sports, it's going to be like 20 in maybe football. It's just something to look at.
I agree. I don't think Dak Prescott is a bad quarterback, but he's certainly not worth that amount of money. And as long as those contracts continue to stall, it just makes the Carson Wentz contract look even better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't hate Dak Prescott. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I just don't think I just don't think Dak is as good as Carson, honestly.
I don't either. And I think we saw that down the stretch last season. We took more away from Carson Wentz, and look what he did. He elevated. Hot take, Wentz breaks touchdown record this year. That would be insane. If everyone stays healthy offensively, Wentz throws for 4,500 yards and 30-plus touchdowns, 11-5 record with him winning his first playoff game. I think that hits it pretty close, on the nail. Like, I'm telling you, this offense can explode. Carson Wentz, people can doubt him, but he's going to have a good year. Exactly. No Super Bowl if we don't go 11-2 with Wentz. People keep forgetting that part. Of course, people do. Like I said, it's not a bad thing to have Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. Like, we have to cherish Nick Foles, and we also have to appreciate Carson Wentz, because in a couple years, whether you like to hear it or not, we could be back in that situation looking for another quarterback, and it'll be those same people who look back and say, damn, I wish I respected and appreciated Carson Wentz while we had him. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's Carson Wentz. He was the MVP before he went down. And I still think he should have gotten the MVP. I said it earlier. He did deserve that MVP. I don't care what anybody says. 11-2, he was just balling out on these teams. And what Foles did was amazing, as we all know. Super Bowl. But without Carson, none of that would have been possible.
I agree. Rick Bennett says, I hate to do this. I'm going 4-2, 8-8 total, but we win the division. Something that Howie said haunts me. He said we are retooling, and Eagles fans may be disappointed. I mean, we go through all this talk, quarterback factory, all this stuff. I'm waiting for the season to come. I'm really excited to see how this Eagles team can develop and work together. I'm telling you, if health, it just keeps coming back. It's just a recurring theme. Like, the last 2 years, we have been put through some crazy amounts of injuries. We can't have near that this season. If we do, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, we got to stay healthy. I mean, that's the biggest thing. We have to stay healthy. If we stayed healthy last year, we won the division 9-7. If we stayed a little bit healthy, I say we win like 10 or 11 games last season.
I agree. Barn 5, Carson got robbed of MVP in 2017. Absolutely agree. I am still a firm believer that he should have won the MVP, even only playing 13 games, with what he was able to do, the position that he was able to set the Eagles up for on the run that they went on. I still think Wentz should have won the MVP.
So do I, 100%. He was just on a different level.
Yeah, I mean, just the way we were blowing out teams. Like, it wasn't even close. We were just demolishing teams.
It kind of turned out well, though, because, there's been this thing where the MVP doesn't go on to win the Super Bowl that year. Brady won the MVP that year, and we all know what happened.
Yes, sir. All right, so at this point, we still have 20 people in here. You guys have been bringing the energy all night. We're over 2 hours. You guys that have been in here from the beginning or for a good majority of this, you guys are the real ones. If you have not yet, smash that like button, subscribe to Philly Take with RB, subscribe to 4for4 Philly Fam. We're going to keep this going for a little while longer, probably a good 10 more minutes, but the one of the last things I want to ask from you guys, we've talked about so much tonight. We talked about pretty much up and down the Eagles roster. I want to know from you guys, what is the next move that you predict the Eagles to make? You can give me a player, you can give me a position. Give me something that you expect the Philadelphia Eagles to do in the near future. What is the next move that we go out and do? Let me hear you guys in the chat. 4for4, go ahead.
Wait, what was that? You kind of lagged out a little bit.
I want to know what the next move the Eagles make is. Like, what is our next move? A player, a position, anything. What is the next step?
I say we go player, and, a lot of people might not agree with it, but I do think we do bring back LaShawn McCoy. I just see everything leaning to that direction. It really just looks that way. And that's how I feel about it. LaShawn McCoy might be back in midnight green for this season.
I like it. I think I would love us to capitalize on this bruiser running back type of situation. If I had to go with one, man, I have a feeling that we're going to go for a linebacker in free agency. It could be Nigel Bradham. I think we bring one of those guys in to help shore up this core. And heading into the off season and the training and everything that's coming up, I really could see us going in, firing on all cylinders. That would be mine. Let's see what everyone else thinks. Vinny Curry, that is a good one. That is a good one, Sean. I could definitely see Vinny Curry being back in Midnight Green. We know how he loves to bring these players that have some experience back on this team, and so I love it.
Thank you, Philly girl. Means a lot.
Joseph Simmons, Eagles sign LaShawn McCoy. He agrees with you. Barn 5 trade for Yannick. I don't know as deep as we're in now into this offseason if Howie would pull the trigger on something like that, but you never know. If things tend to go spiral downward again, Yannick's been talking now again on Twitter. I mean, I could see it happening if things get that bad.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
You guys are right. Do this more often for sure. For sure. We got big things to come on both of our channels for sure.
On the road to 1K. Almost at 500.
Yes, sir. Let's get them to 1K. And I think I'm at 1.8K now. So we're on a road to 2K. Bruh, there is 4 dislikes. Yeah, it's all Cowboys fans. You know, just let them hate. They can't take objectivity. Running back Royce Freeman. Defensive end Clowney. Royce Freeman is another name I heard. Philly Fresh was in here earlier, made a video about him. Could definitely be a good piece from the Broncos to be our bruiser running back. There's a lot of names out there. Clowney, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Clowney, he's a good player, and I would take a guy like Clowney. Like, it's Jadeveon Clowney. Who wouldn't take him? He's a little up there in age. He wants some money, and he's a dirty player. He's better than a guy like Vontaze Burfict, who is also probably the dirtiest player to ever play the game. But, with Clowney, I just don't know. And I'm kind of backtracking what I said a little bit earlier about signing him. I'm not too sure about signing Clowney. Could be the move, but I wouldn't be surprised in the sense of if we do sign him.
I agree. They do need linebacker, though. Absolutely agree. Great stream, bro. Appreciate you for tuning in for this whole time. We've been working hard. So have you guys in the chat. They have to add depth to the linebacker position. Another person saying it. I'm telling you, linebacker is the biggest question now. I think we've shored up a lot of holes, and we've gotten younger and faster at the same time. Big time linebacker.
Yeah, a lot of linebacker comments. I can see it. I can see it. Linebacker. With the Eagles, it's not always the biggest thing, and we really don't add them much. But who knows? We really don't know what's going in Howie Roseman's head.
They might trade for Yannick Ngakoue. I stay on Yannick's IG, and he says stuff little Eagles-centric. I saw Malik Jackson on his drawing yesterday. Hey, he keeps putting out posts about the Philadelphia Eagles. He would love to come here. I've seen one about Reggie White. I've seen one about Malcolm Jenkins. He would love to play for the city of brotherly love, and I do not blame him one bit. I don't.
Neither do I. Best city to play in, 100%.
Absolutely. But at this point, guys, we are almost at 2 hours and 15 minutes. We're going to wrap it up with one more subject here, and you guys already know what it is. The third set of bold takes of the night. We've been doing 3 sets of them. So at this point, you guys ask us any question you want. Give us a fire take. Give us a crazy prediction for the Eagles, for sports, anything. Guys, give us something in the chat right now. We need all these final comments. We're going to respond to all of them down the stretch here. Appreciate you guys that have been in here. We're at 2 hours and 15 minutes. 17 people still in here. Be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to both of us. And let's get some final hot takes up in here.
Yeah, definitely. With me, I really do believe that the Eagles could go as far as going to the NFC Championship game, maybe even the Super Bowl, and maybe even winning the Super Bowl. That's always your bold take for, your favorite team, your team that you literally die for these teams. And, obviously, as a bold take, you got to say, the Eagles are winning the Super Bowl. But to regress a little bit, I'm again going to say, my final bold take, as I already said earlier, Carson Wentz is going to be the unanimous MVP this season.
I love it. I love it. And kind of piggybacking off of what you said earlier and what you just said now, I think with all of the things we've talked about, with how the Eagles have upgraded on both sides of the ball, I kind of alluded to this earlier. My last bold take, I really think we have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. I could see it happening if majority of the guys stay healthy. If things work out, think about it. Just like you said, MVP, a lot goes into that with who we play. If we come out and we show down against some of these big teams like Baltimore, like the Packers, the Saints, the Seahawks, and we come out and we're shutting teams down and we're keeping the field, we're keeping the offense on the field, we're continuing drives, right? Carson Wentz finds his stride. Some of these playmakers on defense, we play more aggressive. I'm telling you, I think the Eagles could have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense in 2020. And like you said, we could go deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, top 10 in both. Definitely can see that.
Great stream, dudes. Appreciate you, Ro.
Good night.
Bold take, Cowboys and Eagles both have double-digit wins and both make the playoffs. I'll agree with that. I could see that happening. I could see us both being at 10 or at 9 wins come week 16, and one team wins one more out of the last 2. The other wins both of them, and division winner and wild card. You never know.
Yeah. Who do you have winning the division, though? That's my thing.
Right. That's what it comes down to. Birds go undefeated. I love it, Philly girl. I love it. That'd be insane.
The city would be on, the city would just go crazy.
D-Jax does a nice 80-yard return. I could see that happening. Imagine week 1, Deshaun Jackson returns a touchdown. They put him back there for something on a punt. I mean, it'd be crazy.
For like a trickery type of play where the one guy back falls down and then D-Jax just takes it sideline.
Insane. Dolphins make the divisional round. They have the best cornerback core with Jones, Howard, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. But the Dolphins have really made a lot of upgrades, surprisingly. I think the Dolphins are really building well for the future. Don't know if they're ready, but if they have a coach that they play hard for, in my opinion, with Brian Flores.
Yeah, I would watch out for the Dolphins.
Definitely.
Tua could be something different.
I'm subscribed to both. You guys love the grind. Appreciate you, Anthony Perry. You've been in here for a while, man. Do I have a wrench on you yet? Let me see if I got one on you.
Also, guys, I do stream every Sunday. So just to let you guys know, for the new subscribers, I do post 10-minute videos every day, and I also do live stream every Sunday around 7:30, 8 o'clock. And again, appreciate all of you that have subscribed and the content.
EDP breaks 3 figurines by halftime of week 1. I love it, dude. I love it. Bucks are a bust. That would be crazy. I don't know what I expect from the Bucks. Yeah, I'll give you guys an update as we get down the next couple months, but I don't think they're going to be this top team in the league everyone's saying. I don't know if I see them bottoming out just yet, but I think they'll be that middle of the pack team.
Yeah.
Good talking Eagles with y'all. Definitely be back. Last bold prediction, Darius Slay will be Defensive Player of the Year as 4 for 4. Also said earlier, I love it. Bird Gang 114 still in here. Appreciate you, my guy. Not sure. Top 10 defense. There are no linebackers. I know we got to work on that, but say some of these prospects step up. Say Nathan Gary takes the bigger role. TJ Edwards steps up. I'm telling you, this defense could be lethal. You two guys will be on Roundtable, 6-guy stream, Philly Fresh, Liam Jenkins, Lord Brunson, Philly Mike, Philly 500. I appreciate all those dudes. That would be so much fun. Also talk to my boy Joey Shakes about collabing. I would love it, dude. I love talking Philadelphia Eagles. I love just the relationships that I built, like with 4 for 4. We met through YouTube. I've met a lot of you guys. You guys come on here every week and bring the energy. It's been a lot of fun, and it's only going to get better when sports come back. Just remember that.
Yeah, you got to think. We're doing this without any sports. Like, we're just throwing things out, and you guys are loving it. Like, 2 hours and 18 minutes, almost 2 hours and 20 minutes that we've been talking some great Eagles football. I would love to do this every week, every other week sort of thing, But yeah, stay tuned for both of our channels. We're definitely on the come up, and I love doing it. I'm sure RB loves doing it also. We love putting out the content for great fans and subscribers like all of you that are still in the stream.
For sure. And To me, it hasn't even felt like 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's felt like an hour and a half, maybe. Like it's just been flying, but I love it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk Eagles football all day.
Bold take: one player on the Eagles and the Cowboys offense and defense becomes a stud. Could definitely see it happening. First game versus Redskins will tell us a lot about our philosophy and mentality this year. I think that's a great point too. Just seeing how we come out of the gate. I felt like in 2017 we came out and there was that presence. Like it just felt like we had everything clicking right away. The Broncos are a sleeper team. They might be the next Tennessee Titans. The Broncos don't sleep on them. If they get that quarterback situation right, don't sleep on them.
Yeah, the Broncos are a scary team.
It's almost 10. Where is my wrench? I got you. I got you, Sean. You've been in here the whole time. You're a real one. Appreciate all you guys that comment on the videos, by the way, too. I know it's a hard time, but you guys have been in here for real.
Yeah.
Madden has the Bucks going 14-2. Get out of here. That would be crazy if they did. RB streams Fridays and 4 for 4 on Sundays for sure. And like I've been saying, I think I'm going to do 2 streams a week from now on. Now that I got this software and everything, me and my boy 4 for 4, we could come on here every week if you guys want it.
Yeah, I'm always down. Always down.
4 for 4, you got a new sub. Keep up the great work, both of you. Appreciate you, K-Hine. He's always in here supporting. That's the differential. The Saints are way better than the Bucks on defense. Absolutely agree. Bold take: both Jalen Reagor and CeeDee Lamb become busts. That would be crazy. Crazy. I mean, you guys have been hyping up CeeDee Lamb, all the Cowboys fans. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see when he gets one of these corners on him. Collab with Dorothy A. And I believe that's Philly Girl. Philly Girl is definitely coming on here very soon. I appreciate Philly Girl. I checked out her video the other day. Speaking of Philly Girl, appreciate the super chat. I know we're almost 2.5 hours in, and she's throwing a super chat. Appreciate you, Philly Girl. We're definitely going to talk soon. Going to bring you on here one day. Great stream. Appreciate you. Now we got one on the opposite end, and we're going to read a couple more, and then we're going to hop off this. It's almost been 2.5 hours. Bold take now on the opposite end. CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Reagor become the top 2 wide receivers in the league. I mean, crazy stuff. I love all this fire you guys are bringing in the chat.
Imagine those two going up against each other for their entire careers with Wentz and Dak throwing them the football.
My bold prediction is Reagor gets more yards and touchdowns than CeeDee Lamb. I think that's very realistic. I really do.
I can see it. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's not going to be the number 1 option in Dallas. We all know Reagor, he could become that guy later on in the season.
For sure. I've subscribed to 3 people because of RB streams. Shout out to you, Barm. Always a real and loyal subscriber. And like I said, we're all a family. Like all of us Philly YouTubers, we talk about collabing and stuff. I love it. You build some good relationships on here.
Yeah, me and RB, we basically talk every day, honestly. Just even though there's nothing, we always like share each other's videos. You know, we're just always figuring out some new ideas to put out to you guys.
For sure. It's
so
just
I do
better. You're right.
Yeah.
Sleeper team Chargers. Interesting. Everyone I subscribe to, I found through streams. I think that's a great point too. Like all of us are trying to promote each other. It's hard. You know, we're kind of like a little sector in the YouTube community, but all we can do is keep helping each other, you know?
Philly Girl, I also just subbed back to you, so I appreciate the sub.
Broncos' success depends on Drew Luck's progression. Agreed. If he can step up and be a quarterback, they could be somewhat of a team.
Drew, it's all in Drew Lock. It's all up to him. He has the weapons. You know, you got Judy, you got Sutton, you got Lindsey, you got even Miller and Chubb on the defense. But it's going to depend on the quarterback.
Imagine Reagor drops every pass. Hey, imagine Reagor goes for 3 touchdowns the first time we play the Cowboys. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a crazy week. We're going to stomp the Dallas Cowboys. They're all going to come crying on here. Man, you know what's going to happen. This is also very true. I think Rhaegar played with like what 3 or 4 different quarterbacks. Man, he's going to develop that's kind of just that chemistry with Carson Wentz. I could see Rhaegar going deep on some plays too. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and those two are with each other for, Rager's entire rookie contract. So, he's with one quarterback and a pretty good one.
Imagine if you had a Twitter account. I don't know if that's talking to me, but I do have a Twitter account at RB Philly. Go ahead and follow me. I always post about my stuff. I know 4for4 has a Twitter account as well. You guys can keep up with us.
Yeah, mine's at 4for4 fan, basically the same thing. Appreciate you too.
Mahomes gets injured and the Chiefs do bad after that. That would be insane if Mahomes were to go down. I think he went down. What was it? Was it last year or the year before? But he had that crazy injury. It like it's like ugh.
Yeah, something crazy. Thank you, Bergang. I appreciate that. I'll subscribe to you back right now.
And Bergang, I'm definitely gonna get you on here, bro. Definitely hit me up, DM me. Anyone that wants to get on here. Like I said, when we get this 2K, guys, we're gonna go absolutely nuts. We're gonna bring people on here. There's still 19 people in here right now, which is crazy. But at this time, guys, we are just almost at 2.5 hours. Crazy Eagle stream. First, pretty much collab stream here on this channel. Me and 4for4. Appreciate my guy coming out to do this. Appreciate all you guys that kept the energy throughout this whole stream. Like, it really did not get dead at all. We got big things looking forward to for the Philadelphia Eagles. We covered so much. I think I'm going to be streaming sometime early next week. Try to get these 2 streams a week. And we'll be back for the Friday stream as always. Check 4for4's stream out on Sunday. And what else you got to say? Anything?
Yeah. And I appreciate all of you guys for always tuning in to, RB and I's videos. Again, I do stream every Sunday starting, 3 weeks ago. I've given – if you guys want to sub back, just hit me up in my comment section. I'll always sub to you guys. I always appreciate it. Maybe me and RB we'll definitely be doing more, collabs with, our channels. Again, appreciate all of you guys for always tuning into our videos and keeping what we do as fun as it is.
For sure. We might have to make this a weekly thing eventually. This is fun. We can even bring subscribers on at the same time. Appreciate you, Bergang 114. Appreciate you, Barn 5. Sean, appreciate your energy. Kara. Philly girl, this was a great stream. Fly goes fly. Appreciate you. Definitely go show her some love. But at the end, guys, what I want to say as we approach 2.5 hours now, first and foremost, I hope everyone is healthy and safe out there during these wild times. I think things are starting to get better. I'm hoping, guys, that we have sports soon, and I hope it'll be in a sound environment. I hope it'll feel like sports, not just fake, noise in the stands and everything. But I'm hoping sports comes back, and I hope we got something to talk about, because when it does, this stuff is going to get even better. But I appreciate everyone that stopped by during the stream. Thank you for all the love and support, guys. And you guys already know what time it is. I go by RB.
I go by 4for4 Philly fan.
And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.